runs it in for the touchdown.
This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, KTFM Floresville. San Antonio's Sports Center.
The Texas Longhorns survived in double overtime against Arizona State with a 39-31 win. They'll face Ohio State, who cruised over top-seeded Oregon 41-42. The Sugar Bowl between Georgia and Notre Dame was postponed due to the terrorist attacks on New Orleans over the holidays. They'll play today at 3. They'll get the winner of Penn State, who beat Boise State on New Year's Eve.
Sports Center is brought to you by Byers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. ByersBarricades.com.
Joe Reinagel.
That's the third time in 7 seasons the San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Joe Reinagel off today. My name is Jason Minix. Glad to have you along on this Thursday afternoon that kind of feels like a Saturday or a Wednesday or who the hell knows what day it is. Yesterday was one of those weird kind of days as well. The last 2 weeks have been that way because some days you're at work, some you're not because of the holidays. And yesterday was one of those great days. Whatever time you rolled out, depending on how long your New Year's Eve went. For me, put some stuff on the grill early and graze all day. I didn't have a solid meal, like sit down and have a meal yesterday at all. Had some ribs for New Year's Eve, and I left some back so that I could eat them on New Year's Day. Then did some poppers and some of those Texas toothpicks they have over at Tri-County, some queso, some deer sausage. It's just you just graze all day watching football. Although one of the games that I was planning to watch, obviously, is going to happen in about an hour. Everything that went on in New Orleans, just tragic. They made the right call not playing the game last night for safety reasons. You know, and it's weird because social media can be such a crap place. Well, it is a crap place to begin with, but situations like this, let them play. It's not about the fans at that point. It's about the police and the safety personnel. Can they investigate everything they needed to do on Bourbon Street and around the city, and then also have the right police presence at the Superdome? They made the right call. The idea that some were saying, and I know one of the politicians, they were saying maybe they should move it till Friday. Maybe, but then you've got the domino effect of all the other games, like Georgia Notre Dame, which kicks off in about an hour. And I do like the fact that they adjusted the time to afternoon instead of playing 7, 8 o'clock tonight, because the winner of this game gets Penn State next Thursday in the Orange Bowl. And, you know, Penn State, they were already going to have a day advantage, if you will, because they played that one game on New Year's Eve. And, you know, quite frankly, like so many of these playoff games, they've just been blowouts. The let's not get a bye blues is on display. I mean, the only good playoff game that we've had to this point was yesterday's Peach Bowl. Hook 'em. Arizona, and I told you, and I saw somebody tweeted me yesterday, my daughter goes to Arizona State. I have been watching Arizona State play all year. That is a damn good football team. That is a tough football team. Oh, they play in the Big 12. That's a good, hard-nosed, physical football team. Scatterboo, you got introduced to him. A lot of you yesterday really watched him for the first time, maybe yesterday, maybe in the Big 12 championship game. I've been watching that dude all year. And quite frankly, his worst game of the year happened up the road in San Marcos. Texas State held him in check for the most part in that game. But Scatterboo's been legit all year. But Arizona State got off to a slow start. It seems like all these teams with a bye got off to slow starts. But when Arizona State woke up, they were legit good and made that game very, very interesting. And the Longhorn fan in me, did Texas get lucky? Did they say, yes, that should have been a targeting call? That should have been. when you have rules experts on social media, some saying people that you would turn to say, give me your thoughts, not targeting because it was face mask to face mask, see what you're hitting. He didn't launch. He still hit a dude in the face, in the head. I thought it was targeting. I really did. I thought it was targeting. Also thought there could have been targeting on Arizona State on the interception, although because he had the launch and everything else, the head and neck area as opposed to just head. But they reviewed it and still said no, which surprised me. Now, I can tell you, as somebody that's watched Arizona State all year, even if they get those 15 yards, they're not guaranteed to win that game because you thought Burn Auburn was awful yesterday. You should see Arizona State's kicking all year long. I mean, at one point, you could look this up. Dillingham, Coach Dillingham at Arizona State said, man, if you have a pulse and can kick the ball, come try out for our team because we suck at kicking. He said that this year. He did. I mean, so even if they get that penalty, there's no guarantee that they get a game-winning field goal. And we'll never know. We'll never know. Texas had opportunities. Arizona State, despite not getting that call, had opportunities. 4th and 13, and you let a receiver get behind you. Say what you want about Quinn Ewers, Joe Reinagle, but in the final 5 minutes of that game, that dude was money. 4th and 13 on what could have been his final play in a Longhorn uniform. The dude threw an absolute strike. That was just incredible. Incredible. That was a fun game. Well, let me take that back. That was a fun fourth quarter. That wasn't a good game. I mean, all gas, no brakes, all gas, and then we hit cruise control Sark. When they were up 14 before everybody's barbecues were ready, and you thought they were going to win that game running them out, I'm with you. I was like, all right, this thing's over. And all of a sudden it wasn't. With what you saw yesterday, Ohio State could crush Texas next Friday in the Cotton Bowl. Because Ohio State, my goodness, where's the team that lost to Michigan? The Longhorn fan in me would invite that Ohio State team to the Cotton Bowl this Friday. Not the team that we've seen the last 2 weeks here in the playoffs. Because now I picked Oregon to win the national championship this year. At the beginning of all this, I was all on the Ducks. I thought they had everything they needed to finally go win one. And that did include Oregon beating Texas in the Cotton Bowl next week. The idea that Ohio State goes into the Rose Bowl and crushes Oregon the way they did. At some point, you got to cover that number 4 guy. He's pretty good. At some point, I don't know what the hell happened to Oregon. And you again, I mean, Boise State, nobody was surprised that happened. No, nobody. You can't be surprised at what happened there. It'll be interesting to see what happens today with Notre Dame and Georgia. Again, that game getting underway here in about an hour. Georgia going with Gunner at quarterback. Now, this Gunner kid, and I remember him at the All-American Bowl, comes in with a crazy resume. And while he has in high school threw for a ton of yards, he was more of an athlete, more of a runner, more of a threat to run, but he can throw. Now, we didn't see that in the SEC championship game. We saw design run after design run after design run for him. And so, Kirby's had enough time to get him ready for this game. But to think that Notre Dame's just going to roll because of that guy, I don't know. Now, I mean, but the bye, how much does that affect? So you look so far these playoffs, which haven't been great. We've had one entertaining finish in the playoffs so far. But we're getting close to having the Final Four, which should produce better games. Should. But when you think about the history of the college football playoff, when it was just 4 teams, we saw a lot of ugly games. we saw a ton of ugly games. Every TCU fan will remind you, or actually they would like to forget, the ugliness of some of those games.
Cincinnati, too.
And Cincinnati. Yeah, remember, they got in there. So, I again, the buys, reseeding, the playoff committee or whoever's in charge of this, because I know the committee gets the teams in, so I don't know who decides their criteria. But we got to look at, do conference champions automatically get a first-round bye? Do you need to reseed? It's weird seeing the Big Ten matchup between Ohio State and Oregon in the Rose Bowl. I mean, it was, and granted, not playoffs, but it was like watching BYU and Colorado, two Big 12 teams in the Alamo Bowl. I mean, conference on conference, wait until it's later on. You could reseed these and get us better matchups. The fact that Texas essentially is going to have a home game Friday against Ohio State in the Cotton Bowl. Take any advantage you can if you're Sark. No targeting, cool. Although Arizona State, you can't pull a guy into the end zone the way they did either. You can't suplex a guy into the end zone. That you can push from behind, but you can't drag somebody over. So I mean, both teams got away with penalties in that game. They did. And I don't know what the hell targeting is. And you know what? You don't know what targeting is either. The guys wearing striped uniforms have no idea what targeting is. You look at rules experts on Twitter. Some will explain why it wasn't. Some will explain why it was. Did they have, he didn't launch. Okay. Didn't use the crown of his helmet. Okay. But he damn near took his head off. They need to look at that. What is a defenseless receiver? Right? You're playing a football game going up to make a catch. You can't be on a football field and be considered defenseless. In my mind, it's football. It's a physical sport. Unless the defender, by rule, lets you land and take 2 steps and put your seatbelt on. I have no idea how you define a defenseless receiver. Again, that to me is one of the dumber terms in sports, defenseless. You're playing a football game. You know the risk when you go up to make that catch. I mean, why don't we penalize the quarterback for putting him in a defenseless position? We've all talked about throughout watching football, man, that quarterback's going to get somebody killed. Well, this is why. Because you put him in that position. But if you're a defender, you still got to go hit that guy. I don't know. Texas got away with one on that penalty. I still don't know that penalty cost Arizona State the game. That wasn't a 4th down play. And knowing their kicking situation, there is no guarantees. No guarantees whatsoever. But certainly did affect the overall finish to that game. What do you guys think? 210-656-ESPN. 656-3776. We'll get into all the college football coming up. Get you caught up on the NFL as well after the Tuesday, Wednesday midweek break. Today we get announced all the Pro Bowl selections. It's crazy how many Cowboys made Pro Bowls after the year that they have had. It's the power of the star. We'll get into it coming up here on the Blitz on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. Georgia, Notre Dame in just under an hour. Want a place to go watch it? Get into the Roo Pub there at 281 and Redland Road. Those 3 massive 170-inch screens, TVs all around. They'll have that game on this afternoon. If you're at work right now, you get off work, you're going home, go over to the Roo Pub, watch the rest of this game, and grab some dinner because, the food is fantastic. They've got the biggest and best wings in town, about 15 different burgers on the menu. They've added that new bison burger. If you haven't tried it yet, go get it. It is fantastic. Great appetizers, great salads, and that kitchen is open late every day with the full menu available. Roo Pub has happy hour weekdays from 11 to 6. Great for lunch, great for dinner, great for late at night, and the best place to watch any big game, any big fight. Just down from the big blind, right next to the Angry Elephant. The Roo Pub, 281 in Redland Road. We'll see you at the Roo.
South Texas College Football Headquarters. Wonderful time of the year for fans. Bowl season is no exception. The biggest and best matchups this bowl season are brought to you by Ewald Kubota, the Break Room Bar, and Smoky Mo's Barbecue. Hear them all on South Texas' first and only FM sports station, 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
The John Clay Wolf Show. Here's what's going on in the Wolf Pack.
They had a drone attack on the Kremlin, man. Okay. Putin says that he thinks that the Ukrainians tried to assassinate him.
How would a drone get that close to the president?
Russia kind of faked a little insurgent attack on themselves, so they did this thing and said, those Ukrainians tried to kill me.
That's how he talks.
The John Clay Wolf Show.
Catch the John Clay Wolf Show Saturdays from 9 a.m. to noon right here on San Antonio Sports Star.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code PIPE to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code PIPE for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code PIPE for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
It's time to huddle up and listen close. For 2024, we pay tribute to a true game changer in the world of snacks, the unrivaled, the unbeatable, the pork rind. Yes, it's crunch time, and we're not just talking about the last few nail-biting minutes of the game. We're talking about a snack so audaciously crunchy, it puts those pretentious chips and pretzels to shame. So here's to you, Southern Recipe Pork Rinds, for being more than just a crunch. Southern Recipe Pork Rinds. It's crunch time. Find your rind at H-E-B.
Don't let pain hold you back from living your best life. I'm Dr. Jason Garrett with Arasti. At Arasti, we're dedicated to providing fast, effective relief from pain. Whether you've been dealing with a chronic discomfort for years or have recently suffered an injury, our goal is to help you recover quickly. Our treatment is all natural, non-invasive, and covered by most insurance plans. With convenient locations nearby, relief is just a call away. Visit Arasti.com. That's AIRROSTI.com. Arasti, we fix pain fast.
America's best high school football players are coming to San Antonio. It's the Navy All-American Bowl at the Alamo Dome on Saturday, January 11th. C.J. Stroud, Christian McCaffrey, and Micah Parsons played here. Join us for a day of exciting football to see the stars of tomorrow at the Navy All-American Bowl, followed by the San Antonio Sports All-Star Football Game, presented by Valero. Fan Zone opens at 9:30 a.m. Tickets on sale at the Dome box office and Ticketmaster.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to end your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other IRS actions. Make sure you're getting the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima today for a free confidential consultation.
Call 800-749-8188. 800-749-8188. 800-749-8188.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
1, 2, 3, Cowboys! South Texas home of the Dallas Cowboys. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Sunday at noon, the Cowboys take on the Washington Commanders.
I like this kind of party!
Pre-game starts at 11. Presented by AA Best Bail Bonds and Ewald Kubota.
You asked for it, you got it! How about them Cowboys?
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. South Texas home of the Dallas Cowboys. It's the Blitz with Jason and Joe on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1, San Antonio Sports Star. Maybe you're watching on YouTube. Subscribe to the San Antonio Sports Star YouTube channel. You can always comment there. You can tweet us at Jason Minix, at SA Sports Star. Ryan Eagle's off today, but probably still checking Twitter, at Joe Reinagel 210. Hope everybody had a great New Year. Welcome to 2025. We've been off the last couple of days, so some catching up to do. Couple of housekeeping notes. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention, but Jim Rome is moving. So he's not going to be on our station starting Monday because he's changing time slots. So starting Monday, Rich Eisen's show is going to be on from noon until 2 as our lead-in here to the Blitz. Know a lot of people, based on what I've seen on social media, excited to see Rich Eisen coming to the San Antonio airwaves, I believe, for the first time. I know we've never carried him. I don't think they've ever carried him. So, but I know Rich is extremely popular and does a hell of a show. So excited that, you know, when with Rome's decision to try to move to afternoon drive, and you hear the fill-in dude for him earlier today going, yeah, a lot of stations probably aren't going to keep him. Yeah, duh, because we all have afternoon shows. But whatever, I'm excited that we're adding in Rich Eisen. So, that starts on Monday. So it'll be the morning huddle, Greeny when he shows up to work, the Rich Eisen show, and then the Blitz, and then extra innings with Pledge, and then whatever ESPN offers at night. So that starts on Monday. Tomorrow the Blitz is going to be live out at the South Texas RV show out at Freeman Coliseum's Expo Hall 2 to 6. So if you're going out there to the Expo Hall tomorrow to check out all those RVs, make sure you come by and say hello. The Cowboys have one game left. This awful season, almost over. Almost over. But it is interesting with the Pro Bowl rosters being announced today. The Cowboys get 5. All right? Now, 2 of them are special teamers, but they get 5. Micah Parsons is the first defensive player to be named to the Pro Bowl in each of his first 4 seasons since Aaron Donald. And you think about the games he missed and how different that defense was when he got back, you understand the impact of Micah Parsons. Whether he's getting a ton of tackles and sacks on a stat sheet, but his impact on the game is huge. I saw somebody tweet after the last game, did he even play? He only had half a tackle. Dude, if you watch and you see the attention that guy gets, that makes everybody else better. Tyler Smith on the offensive line, he gets a nod, and so does CeeDee Lamb. And you look at CeeDee Lamb, no doubt. Gamonte Turpin as the return specialist, no surprise there, and Brandon Aubrey's the best kicker in football. You could argue, although you would lose, but is Brandon Aubrey the Cowboys' MVP this year? Now, you could argue that. It's either Micah Parsons or CeeDee Lamb, but you could argue Brandon Aubrey. Because if they got near midfield, Mike McCarthy changed his play calling because he knew he had 3 points in his pocket. I don't know. I mean, for the season that they've had, I am a little surprised they were able to get 5 on the Pro Bowl roster. I know they're still the Dallas Cowboys, and you'll see teams that are going to drop out, but you look at like the Houston Texans get 4. Mixon, which is a little bit of a surprise, although he's had a good year, but Pro Bowler. Laramie Tunsil, Nico Collins, and Derek Stingley Jr. Patrick Mahomes does not make the Pro Bowl roster. And I bring that up now because you look at the Cowboys and go, well, they have star on their helmet. That's automatically going to get them in. Dude, it's Patrick Mahomes. And when you have the fan vote, right? The fan vote, and as much as that counts, the fact that the best quarterback on the planet, while not statistically having the best year, but I don't know, he's got, one loss and his team's the 1 seed. He's Patrick freaking Mahomes, right? Not on the roster. Travis Kelce makes it. All the Swifties voted for him. Sure. And don't you think they're voting for Patrick too? To me, it's just Has he had a Pro Bowl year? No. Would I make that argument? Not even close. Am I surprised that he doesn't make it? Yes, because he's Patrick Mahomes. I mean, now you look at, all right, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, right? There's no argument there. I mean, you can't argue those three. I don't even know. I mean, you can't, right? I mean, there a Charger fan arguing for Justin Herbert when you list those three guys? No. Is there a Jet fan arguing for Aaron? No, I'm kidding. But no, when you look at, you look at those three, but not to have Patrick Mahomes on the Pro Bowl roster is surprising. Now, I don't know who you would take off, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, or Lamar Jackson. I mean, I would say at this point, Joe Burrow, just because of where his team is in the standings and not, but I mean, Burrow is incredible. But knowing that there is a fan vote and say a Travis Kelce makes it and a Patrick Mahomes doesn't, it's just kind of surprising to see that a fully healthy Patrick Mahomes doesn't make a Pro Bowl roster, knowing the fan vote is out there, which also tells me it's not just because you have a star in your helmet that some Cowboys make it. I don't know. I mean, when you look around, there's always this guy got snubbed, that guy got snubbed. I don't know. I mean, Mike McCarthy today, excited for the 5 Cowboys that
Proud
made
of all those guys. I think anytime you're recognized, by your peers and by the coaches and the fans, I mean, it speaks volumes. So just happy for all of them. And I think just like anything, it's a team game. But when you play at the level that they, all those guys did consistently, I think it's really cool to be recognized.
It is, and we'll see who actually goes and then how many actually end up making the Pro Bowl, because we could go through the list of alternates. Like C.J. Stroud probably goes. He's an alternate. And, you look at the 3 that, quote-unquote, made it. Those guys aren't going. So maybe C.J. ends up as a Pro Bowl quarterback this year, even though he certainly did not have a Pro Bowl type of season. And I'm glad they announce it like this week, because this weekend in the NFL, you're going to see all kinds of players not play. This has the feel of kind of a cross between some games are going to feel like a preseason game. Like Bailey Zappi is going to start a quarterback for the Browns on Saturday. Raise your hand if you knew Bailey Zappi played for the Browns. I didn't until I saw the headline on Pro Football Talk.
Why would they have started DTR over him?
I don't know. I mean, I had no idea that Bailey Zappi got picked up by the Browns. None. Honestly, I did not. Glad he's still got a gig in the NFL somewhere. Get that game check, kid. But you look at some of the games, was it the Rams are resting everybody? Who else? We know Kansas City's going to rest a lot of players. So we get to see Carson Wentz start for Kansas City against Denver. Who the hell knows who's going to be in the Eagles game, because the Eagles, they're dealing with some injuries, and they've decided not to start Saquon Barkley. Now, I'm not so sure I agree with this. Saquon is saying all the right things about not playing this week, but deep down you kind of feel like he wishes he was.
He asked me if I wanted to play, if I want to go for it. I said on Sunday, I probably didn't care too much for it. When I slept on it, it was an opportunity to implant my name in football history. May never get another opportunity like that again. So I'm down, but at the end of the day, I don't care for putting the team at risk. He's the head coach for a reason. He makes the decisions, and whatever decision he wanted to make, I let him know if you want me to play, I'm going to go out there and make sure I get it. And if we don't, I'm okay with that too.
He's being a good teammate. And for a lot of times, you put the team first. Saquon went on to say family probably wants it a little bit more than he does. But at the same time, if you're that close, you have to go for it. This isn't a franchise's single season rushing record. This is the NFL's rushing record. of the 9 guys in the 2,000-yard club, well, I'll get another chance at it. None of them ever came close again. If you're this close, go for it. And I'm surprised that the Eagles aren't going to give them that opportunity. You're 101 yards away, and you're playing the Giants, the team that cut you. Like the whole Netflix series on this, the 30 for 30 on this, for him to get that. Would he get that in the half? It's possible that Saquon, he might do it on the first play of the game, or at least get 80 of it. If I'm the Eagles, if I'm those Eagle teammates, if I'm the Eagles offensive line, I'm trying to convince Nick Sirianni to play Saquon. Saquon is saying all the right things, but when you're that close to a record that has stood for 40 years, you've got to do it. I mean, Dickerson did it in 1984, and I've seen some people argue on social media, well, Eric Dickerson did it in 16 games. Okay? Well, he beat O.J. Simpson, who did it in 14 games. But I look at, was it 379 carries for Eric Dickerson to get there? And Saquon right now is at 345 carries. Saquon would do it. There's no way Saquon gets 34 carries Sunday against the New York Giants. So if Saquon were to play Sunday and break the record, he likely does it in fewer carries than Eric Dickerson. So I don't give a damn about 16 games versus 17. But when you think about records in the NFL that matter, this is one that I think most people would, you know who the single-season rushing record holder is. You know who the all-time rushing record holder is. Of course, Cowboy country, but I think everybody, I don't care where you are, everybody knows that's Emmitt Smith. And that's likely a record that won't be broken. The way football has changed, who would have thought somebody would be close to Eric Dickerson's record, whether they added a 17th game or even go to 18, because people don't run the ball like that or run one guy like that with running back by committee. Although this year might have a little bit of a change in how the NFL perceives running backs. The Cowboys certainly need to change their perception. Hell, Zeke didn't even make it all the way through the season. We'll get into that later. But if I'm the Eagles, I want Saquon to go get that record. I want him to go get that record. I'm surprised that Nick Sirianni made that decision. Saquon is saying all the right things, and I get that. Saquon is an ultimate team guy, especially though he could do it against his former team. I mean, you talk about birds up. To do that against the Giants, to get that mark against the Giants. I mean, the NFL script writers had this thing ready to go, and then Nick Sirianni is going to pull that page. You can't do that. I hope they have a change of heart and he plays. The risk, and was it on Greeny or McAfee or one of the shows this morning? Well, they played A.J. Brown in a meaningless game and he got hurt. All right. I mean, we can't put these guys in bubble wrap. And I understand the risk reward. I understand it's a personal achievement, but this is a team achievement. In my mind, I know Super Bowl is the goal. The Super Bowl is the goal. I get that. Are you going to risk that? I get it. Jalen Hurts got hurt 2 weeks ago with a concussion, and that puts I get all of that. This close to a record, I go for it. I go for it. And depending on how the first half goes, maybe he doesn't play in the second half. But, if he were 78 yards away, if he were 58 yards away, he would be playing, right? So 101 for Saquon against that piss-poor Giants defense seems pretty attainable in a half.
Is there something to the nature of the position? Because if a wide receiver's trying to break a record, really it's just him. If it's cornerback going for a record of some sort, it's just him on an island. Because it's Saquon, you have to have the entire offensive line in there.
Well, if I heard Nick Sirianni right, they can't rest everybody, so a lot of those offensive linemen are going to be playing anyway. They're at risk. Saquon, they're not willing to put at risk. And again, it's the nature of the position. Generally speaking, I'm not a record seeker, but certain records, go get them. You look at Mike Evans. He's got some pretty attainable goals that are worth about $3.5 million if he's able to get them all attainable. They're going to force feed that guy. I mean, if you were still playing fantasy football this weekend, everything is going to be on Mike Evans. Start that guy. Underdog fantasy, whatever the hires are, because they are going to do what they can to make sure he gets those. And, the front office might not like that, but he's got like $3.5 million of incentives that he could hit with very attainable numbers this weekend. So we'll see. If I'm Barkley, I'm playing. I know you're saying all the right things to the media. I hope you go and say what's really on your mind. And again, Saquon a couple of times has, single season, single game. He's not worried about that. But this is a record that has stood since 1984. If I were Saquon, would go for it. It is the Blitz here on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. Let's talk about what we saw yesterday at the Peach Bowl in Atlanta. Texas survives in double overtime against Arizona State. Let's go into it and try to figure out what the hell is targeting here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Nobody ever plans on getting arrested, but it does happen to a lot of people every day for all kinds of reasons. I know I saw a lot of you started the new year at the jail. And, you got out of jail because you called my good friend Albert and his great staff at AA Best Bail Bonds. 210-225-2121. Text the word bail to 474747, or you can start the bonding process online at mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else to get out of jail, and you don't want to be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you a PR bond, make sure you truly understand what all those conditions are before accepting it. Your best option for stress-free bail bonds is AA Best Bail Bonds because nobody beats their price. They offer payment plans, have a free shuttle service. They are discreet and confidential and open 24/7 with offices all over San Antonio and Texas, services nationwide. So if you're up in Dallas, down in Corpus, anywhere in between, license number 149, call AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121, or go online at mybestbailbonds.com.
South Texas, get ready for the ultimate sports talk experience. Starting this Monday, the one and only Rich Eisen is coming to 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. With over 20 years of NFL experience, Rich Eisen brings breaking stories, expert analysis, and exclusive interviews with sports legends to your airwaves with unmatched wit, insight, and passion. Catch all the action every weekday, noon to 2 p.m. The Rich Eisen Show, only on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Between all the holiday parties,
weekend tailgates,
and family get-togethers,
we've been overindulging a little more than usual over the holidays. But now, we are starting the new year off on a healthier note by taking Active Liver supplements from New Nordic every day.
Active Liver contains a powerful blend of turmeric, milk thistle, and globe artichoke extract, all natural ingredients that help protect the liver so that it can protect you from toxins. It's like giving my body a daily detox. I've never felt better, and my energy is through the roof.
And my doctor is already impressed with how much better my numbers are looking. So if better health, more energy, and detoxing your body are some of your priorities this year, get Active Liver today and start the year off knowing you're giving your liver some well-deserved relief.
Active Liver is available in both tablets and as a delicious gummy. You can find Active Liver in stores at your local CVS or online at Amazon or newnordicusa.com.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now.
800-583-5795.
Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-583-5795. That's 800-583-5795.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine is excited to announce a partnership that is revolutionary revolutionizing access to care for orthopedic patients. The HURT app provides free 24/7 access to orthopedic expertise. HURT is the app to have before you need it. Don't wait for an injury to happen. Download HURT now for free, fast virtual access to orthopedic specialists. The HURT app is available online in the App Store and Google Play. Learn more about the HURT app and the OrthoNow Injury Clinic at tsaog.com.
If you love them enough to turn off your music and pretend like their music is your music,
This is Mommy's jam.
then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Let's play it again.
Check today at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
It's playoff time, and it's now or never. Don't miss out on the last few weeks of football action with Prize Picks, the best place to win cash while watching the playoffs. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. The app's really simple to use. Pick 2 or more players across any sport. Pick more or less on their projection, and you could win up to 1,000 times your money. Prize Picks now offers MasterCard for quick and easy deposits into your account this sports season. Join Prize Picks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app, available to play in more than 40 states, including California and Texas. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code ALAMO and get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code ALAMO on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to get the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks. Run your game. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
Come to the South Texas RV Super Sale today through Sunday. Expo Hall at the Freeman. Doors open at 10 a.m. daily. Get tickets online at southtexasrvsupersale.com. Every kind of RV and dealers are making deals. southtexasrvsupersale.com.
Is the Blitz here on 94.1, San Antonio Sports Star on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to the San Antonio Sports Star YouTube channel. I'm Jason Minix. Ryan Eagle has the day off. Welcome in to 2025. First show of the new year. 1 week to go in the NFL season, so make sure you get over to sasportstar.com. Get your picks in for the Pro Football Pick'em Challenge. One more chance to win that gift card to Mellow Mushroom. And, of course, at the end of the year, the local grand prize winner gets $1,000 worth of tickets from A Awesome Tickets, which would be awesome. Like if you want to go see, I don't know, Texas, Ohio State in the Cotton Bowl Friday. $1,000 worth of those tickets, boom, right there. Looking at the standings, like a two-person race. I mean, somebody could have a really bad week. Somebody could have a really good week, but it looks like, looking at the leaderboard right now, let's see here. You got a guy named Michael. He's got one more than Fred, and then Ruben and another Michael are 3 behind. 6 behind probably isn't going to get it done for Matt. So we'll see. I've got no chance where I'm at. That's all right. That's all right. Although this week, picking games, who's playing, who's not, that's more of a challenge. More of a challenge. I still think Saquon should play. So does Gary, who's dialing us up. Gary, you're on the Blitz. What's up, man? Good call, Gary.
It is, but if he thinks he's not going to let Saquon have that. Now, Saquon is a very humble guy. I've liked that guy since he was in Penn State. You can look in his eyes. He said, well, you know, I'm going to do whatever the team wants. But his eyes are saying, my God, man, there's no way they're not going to let me go for that record. That record's going to be, that offensive line is going to be able to carry that trophy in their hearts and minds forever. And this coach right here, because he's worried because Jalen Hurts got hurt. Jalen Hurts could get hurt on the first play in the playoffs. If you're afraid that your players are going to get hurt, then you can't be a coach in the NFL because they get hurt on every play.
You know, they do. And again, you can't play scared, but you can play smart. And why put them at risk? Like, typically speaking, I would be fine. All right, Saquon, you don't need to play this week, man. Take those carries off your body. You got a chance to go get a record that has been around since 1984. Now, knowing, and you guys know this too, it's not like it's a secret and I'm the only one that knows this, but I mean, you look at a guy like Eric Dickerson, is still relevant today on the autograph show circuit because he can sign single-season rushing leader. You know, the idea that in that documentary with Mark Gastineau mad at Brett Favre, right? Gastineau was the sack leader, and, of course, now he's not because Favre fell down and Strahan took him over. How much money that cost Mark Gastineau because he couldn't sign autographs as the sack leader, or his presence at certain card shows, the value goes up because he's the sack leader. You know, Saquon will be able to have that. Eric Dickerson has had that for 25, 30 years. Obviously Eric Dickerson, 5-10 years after he played, was still Eric Dickerson showing up at these events. He still gets invited to those events because, well, he's the single-season rushing record. You look at a guy like Drew Pearson, for a lot of years, was not in the Hall of Fame, was not in the Ring of Honor, but Hail Mary. And if you go look at everything that Roger Staubach has signed and Drew Pearson has signed, it's pretty rare to find Roger writing the term Hail Mary on anything. Generally speaking, if Roger and Drew have signed something, Roger has signed it, and Drew has done the extra work by writing in Hail Mary because it kept him in that space for so long. And Saquon might not be thinking about that right now, but I imagine there are some older players out there that are telling him, dude, from a financial standpoint, you need to go do what you can to go get that record. There's a reason Eric Dickerson is like, dude, don't break that record. I want that. There's a financial component to it as well as the bragging rights. But there is the business side of football that is certainly very real. I like the fact that Eric Dickerson is all over the media right now, and again getting interview requests because somebody's about to break his record. He's like, no, I don't want him to do that. Whoever said records are made to be broken's never had a record. And that's a great line. I appreciate that. That's like the person that says it's an honor to be nominated. It's because you haven't won, right? But once you won, it's a little bit different. Interesting. I want to see him go get it, and I hate the Eagles because it's special. It's something you don't see every day. And in today's world of football, to have a running back that can get for 2,000 yards. I mean, you look at a guy like Rico. He went over 1,000 yards this year. And we're all impressed and surprised by that. And 1,000 yards is still kind of the benchmark, right? You get a running back that goes over 1,000 yards, man, that's a great year. Even with 17 games, man, that's a great year, right? That benchmark has not moved. Saquon went 2,000 in today's football. And he would have had another dozen touchdowns if they didn't have that tush push, right? Which is legal. Tush push. Not legal to take somebody and roll him and drag him across the end zone over the goal line over bodies, which is what we saw yesterday in the Peach Bowl. Of course, Texas fans aren't crying about that. That's actually a rule. You're not allowed to do that. Although Texas wouldn't have stopped Scatterboo on the next play anyway, right? But we don't know that. Just like we don't know what would have happened if targeting would have been called, because we don't know what targeting is. We really don't. I thought that was targeting. Texas caught a massive break. Massive. But even if that targeting call gets made, that doesn't mean Arizona State gets a walk-off field goal to win that thing, because Arizona State has had crappy kickers all year long. They suck at the kicking game. I know we saw the Texas kicker, Bert Auburn, or Austin, as they kept calling him on the TV broadcast. I don't know what the hell Jesse was thinking. Dude, how do you not know, right? Nobody corrected him. He did it like 4 times. But anyway, he was awful yesterday. Some might say that's the football gods for the targeting. Bottom line, though, with the game on the line, after throwing that interception, Quinn Ewers was incredible down the stretch. Quinn Ewers down the stretch after that interception. Final 5 minutes of the regulation and the 2 overtimes. 11 of 14 for 161 yards and 2 touchdowns. A 4th and 13 play that, depending on whatever happens from here, anytime you see a Quinn Ewers Longhorn highlight, you're going to see that play. I know he's had some big wins in his Longhorn career, and he's had some pretty big plays, but that throw was perfect. I saw it was Ancho that probably had the best breakdown on social media video that I've seen from him coming to the line of scrimmage, changing the play, changing the protection. With 4th and 13, I mean, if that pass is incomplete, his Longhorn career is over. Think about that. Everything was on the line, and he was just calm. A lot calmer than his coach, who, by the way, who coaches up a kicker like that in that moment? Doesn't every coach leave a kicker alone? What was Sark doing? It didn't work, obviously. It didn't work. I know he was smiling. The other guy was smiling. Leave kickers alone. Let them do their thing. That was weird. I'm not sure what to make of this Texas team as they get ready to play Ohio State next Friday in the Cotton Bowl. Because the Ohio State team that we've seen the last 2 weeks in the playoffs is going to just boat race Texas. They will, if Texas doesn't figure them out. Ballou is going to join us at 3:35. Show in a little while. 45 minutes, give or take. Because the way Texas started that game, then they hit cruise control. Why? And once Arizona State got momentum, man, Texas couldn't stop them. Now, credit Texas, because when things went south, they didn't fold. They got that win. The way they played in overtime, they were able to get it done. Sark talked about the resiliency of his program.
One thing that I know about our group is when our backs are against the wall and when our best is needed, our best shows up time and time again. And the resiliency that these guys showed today was something that, as a coach, makes you really proud. You know, that, we weren't at our best, and it felt like a NCAA March Madness basketball game with the swings of emotions and things.
Well, and again, you look at that, and that was a great analogy that he uses there, because there was, the swings and emotions and everything that was going on, pretty incredible. Now, you look at, everybody's going to talk about targeting, and maybe this gets the rules committees to try to figure out what it is, because even Kenny Dillingham, the head coach at Arizona State, when he was asked about the non-targeting call there in the fourth quarter.
I want to be honest, I don't know what targeting is. We lost one of our best players in the first half for targeting, and I just don't know what it is. So I don't want to comment on something that I have to get a better grasp of what it is, just because it's so, I just don't quite understand it. I do just want to protect the players, though. So whatever rules are put in place to protect the players, I'm all about.
Yeah, all right. It's a great answer, because following Kenny's career, I'm surprised he just didn't flat go off, because he talks about their best player, and watching the broadcast, they highlighted it. One of their best defensive players, if not the best defensive player, missed the first half because in the Big 12 championship game against Ohio State, he came in on a blitz, and he just lit up the quarterback. But it had everything that you need for targeting. You had the launch, the crown of the helmet, you had it all. And all these indicators that you're supposed to be looking for. Were all the indicators there on that hit? No, he didn't launch. It wasn't the crown of his helmet. It was face mask to face mask. And you see some rules experts, former refs, saying that was a good non-call, and then you have others say that was clear and obvious. I don't know what clear and obvious is. I really don't. Clear and obvious is supposed to be clear and obvious, right? But if there's this much debate, then maybe we need to figure out how to better define what is clear and obvious, or let's get rid of it. Let's start with getting rid of anything called defenseless receiver. Because if you're playing in a football game, how do you consider yourself defenseless, right? The rules change with a running back lowering his head using the crown of his helmet. The rules change when you're a runner versus a quarterback. You leave your feet that makes you defenseless, but you chose to leave your feet, so you put yourself in that position. I hate the idea that you can be called defenseless. Now, blindside, that's one thing. But if you're a receiver going up to make a catch, you know you're about to get hit. That comes with the territory, and why we celebrate those with the big old stones that are willing to go across the middle because they know what's coming. Yet they do it anyway. The courage that takes. To be called defenseless, to me, is ridiculous. Texas escapes. They get Ohio State next week, Friday, in at the Cotton Bowl. In fact, the Blitz is going to be broadcasting live next Friday from Popstroke for a special Flight Friday with their friends from Flight by Yingling. We'll have great Yingling prizes to give away, and then, of course, watch the Cotton Bowl there at Popstroke, Texas and Ohio State. Popstroke over there near UTSA, I-10, 1604 area. That's that Tiger Woods spot, right? All the miniature golf, the bars, everything that's in there. I've been to the one in Phoenix area, Glendale. I have not been to the one here. I'm excited to be out there next Friday. So make plans next Friday to join us with our friends from Flight by Yingling out at Popstroke. Good stuff there. After the game yesterday, and say what you want about Kenny Dillingham, and he's young, he's brash. As a Arizona State fan, I love it. After the game, and that was a devastating loss for Arizona State, a team that talked a lot of crap coming in. They were getting run out. They battled back, and you know how devastating that loss was for that program. But after the game, Coach Dillingham made sure that they did things the right way there for Arizona State.
After the game, you went and there were some guys walking off the field, and you went and kind of circled them back toward the middle of the field and some guys on the bench. What were you doing there?
Yeah, you lost the game. Doesn't mean you just get to leave. Like, you shake hands. That's what you do. That's sportsmanship. So nothing more than if we would have won, you shake the team's hand. You lose, you go out there, and it's not fun, but that's part of life.
I love that. I love every bit about that. Solid year for Arizona State, team that was picked to finish dead last. You know, with my kid there, following them all year, I knew that game was going to be tough. And as I said all last week, Texas would win, Arizona State would cover. I was sweating that number in the first half, but, 13.5. If you listened to me last week, you cashed a ticket. It is the Blitz here on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. Old Vince Young told a story on the Johnny Manziel podcast that if you're a Houston Texan fan is going to piss you off. We'll get into that coming up here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Riding home with the Blitz. Afternoons 2 to 6. KTFM Floresville. And everywhere at sasportstar.com. South Texas, get ready. The legendary Rich Eisen debuts on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star this Monday. Rich delivers breaking stories and exclusive interviews every weekday, noon to 2 p.m. The Rich Eisen Show on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
The John Clay Wolf Show. Here's what's going on in the Wolf Pack.
What exactly is SpaceX's no a-hole policy? And I think it's up to us to define what an a-hole is. Gigi, do you have any?
It's either my way or the highway.
You're using mine. I sent you those as examples. I didn't want you to use them. Those are mine. You're being an a-hole, Gigi.
I'm the accidental a-hole this morning.
The John Clay Wolf Show.
Catch the John Clay Wolf Show Saturdays from 9 a.m. to noon right here on San Antonio Sports Star.
When you are just craving something salty and packs a crunch, Southern Recipe Pork Rinds is your crunch time decision. Game day just got a whole lot crunchier thanks to the powerhouse snack, Southern Recipe Pork Rinds. We're talking about crispy, golden bites of pure awesomeness. Pork rinds are your MVP snack. And get this, they're low carb and high in protein, so you can keep the energy high without the guilt. Don't settle for ordinary on game day. Grab yourself a bag of Southern Recipe Pork Rinds at H-E-B today.
I don't feel so good.
You do feel hot. Dayquil Kids will take care of that fever.
What about my cough?
Dayquil Kids has that covered.
Will it make my throat feel better?
Yes, that too.
But will it taste good?
Yep, Dayquil Kids comes in your favorite flavor.
Purple?
Well, yes, it's grape.
Try new DayQuil Kids Plus Fever, the daytime coughing, aching, sore throat fever just for kids medicine. Safe for kids 6+. Use as directed.
Again, St. Bede's story. Jim was at the laundromat when he heard his ear said, "Maraca, senor," but his nose said, "Hey, freshest scent ever." Following his nose, Jim found a man pouring a bottle of Gain Scent Beads into the washer. The scent, the freshness. Jim blurted, "Sir, your scent Maraca smell amazing." Actually, Jim, most noses call them Gain Scent Beads. Try Gain Scent Beads. Way fresher than detergent alone.
Come to the South Texas RV Super Sale today through Sunday. Expo Hall at the Freeman. Doors open at 10 a.m. daily. Get tickets online at SouthTexasRVSupersale.com. Every kind of RV and dealers are making deals. SouthTexasRVSupersale.com.
America's best high school football players are coming to San Antonio. It's the Navy All-American Bowl at the Alamo Dome on Saturday, January 11th. C.J. Stroud, Christian McCaffrey, and Micah Parsons played here. Join us for a day of exciting football to see the stars of tomorrow at the Navy All-American Bowl, followed by the San Antonio Sports All-Star Football Game, presented by Valero. Fan Zone opens at 9:30 a.m. Tickets on sale at the Dome box office and Ticketmaster.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick. And it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick. Soothing comfort for the whole family. And when you need more comfort for yourself, try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks Vapors.
Use as directed. Vapo Stick for use ages 4 and up. Vapo Shower Max use for adults only.
George gets justice. When you've been injured, you need to get George Salinas Injury Lawyers because you need someone who understands your pain and the impact an accident has on your life. You need someone who listens and is always there fighting for you and your future. When you get George Salinas Injury Lawyers, you get all this and more. If you've been injured, it's time to get George. And remember, you won't pay anything unless they win your case. Call George Salinas at 210-225-0909. George gets justice. GetGeorge.com.
San Antonio's Sports Center.
The Dallas Cowboys released running back Ezekiel Elliott in an attempt to allow him to sign with the team for the playoffs. Speaking of the Cowboys, the Pro Bowl rosters were announced as Dallas has 5 players. Starters for the NFC side, Micah Parsons, Tyler Smith, Brandon Aubrey, and returner Cavante Turpin, while wide receiver CeeDee Lamb was named a reserve. The Texans have 4 players, Laramie Tunsil, Derek Stingley, Nico Collins, and Joe Mixon.
Sports Center is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas Authority in Barricade Rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
Joe Reinagel.
That's the 3rd time in 7 seasons. The San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Joe Reinagel has the day off. I'm Jason Minix. Glad to have you along on this Thursday. Sure. I don't know. It's a Thursday that kind of feels like a Monday, although this morning it felt more like a Sunday, maybe a Saturday. I don't know what day it is. You don't know what day it is. It's a day that ends in Y. We've got football on that's about to kick off, the All-State Sugar Bowl. You can listen to that game over on San Antonio's ESPN at 1250, brought to you by Smoky Mo's Barbecue, the Break Room Bar in Live Oak, and Ewald Kubota. I'll give you updates throughout the afternoon. So it just, the tragic events that happened yesterday in New Orleans, 3 o'clock in the morning on Bourbon, they made the right call in delaying the game, and the afternoon start certainly will help whoever wins this game because, they move on and play next Thursday, a week from today, in the Orange Bowl against a Penn State team who played on Tuesday night. So you talk about a little bit of a rest advantage. That's the way the ball bounces sometimes. Very, very interesting. So we'll keep you updated on what's happening in the Sugar Bowl that is about to get underway. Right now, though, let's do the Headline Blitz.
This is Jason and Joe's Headline Blitz. 2 guys, 2 opinions, never enough time.
You know, there are some stories that you just read and you go, yeah, I'm going to call BS on this until you see the video. There was a dog that was missing for 9-10 days. German Shepherd down in Florida. They couldn't find the dog. The dog was gone. On Christmas Eve, early in the morning, the dog comes home. All right, cool. No, the dog not only came home, it rang the doorbell. It was a German Shepherd. It rang the doorbell and then waited for somebody to come let it in. According to the dog's owner in the story, he's never done that before. So how this dog knew to go ring the doorbell is beyond me. Where it's been for 10 days, who the hell knows? But when you look at a dog that just, comes home and rings the doorbell and jumps up and you think, all right, and they did it at 2:30 in the morning. So imagine, it's 2:30 in the morning and on Christmas Eve, your doorbell rings, right? And then you check your camera and it's your dog that's been gone for 10 days. Happy ending. I'm sure what they're going to do to secure the fence or whatever they need to do at their house, but don't know where that dog has been, but it came home and it rang the doorbell. It rang the doorbell. And then you see the video, like you see the headline, yeah, BS. You might have saw it on, no, this dog just jumps up and rings the doorbell. Crazy. Almost as crazy as this Vince Young story. Now, Pledge, you're the resident Houston Texan fan. Have you ever heard this story before?
I've never heard this story.
See, I've never heard this story before either. And then I thought, well, maybe it's one of those, maybe you heard it and it kind of went away. Maybe. But VY goes on Johnny Manziel's podcast and tells a story that if you're a Houston Texan fan, if you're driving right now, don't run off the road, but this is going to piss you off.
The Texans had the number one pick.
You're trying to go home.
I want to play at home.
Were you expecting to go to the Titans?
When you sit in that green room, anything can happen. I'm still thinking that I'm about to get picked by the Houston Texans, but I'm over here playing PlayStation Madden with Mario Williams the night before. They come whisper in his ear like, you going to the Houston Texans? I'm like, oh, shit. Once I found that out, I was a little hurt that night. Down the line now, found out that they didn't want me because they ain't like my agent. I'm like, what? You could have told me that. I would have fired his ass and hired the agent you like.
Whoever you wanted.
I actually didn't know where the hell I was finna go, because after the Houston Texans picked him, I'm thinking I still had a shot. But once they said that, I'm like, oh, it's up in the air now.
Can you imagine? Like every Texan fan I know, I mean, it seemed destined. Vince Young's coming home. He's coming home. He's coming home. It's going to be great. So let's see. You got to go way back in the mind. Yeah, Kubiak was still the coach, right? He was first-year coach. They're still trying to fix Derek Carr. Or no, David Carr. And it was still Charlie Casserly as the GM. This might have been what got him fired, because didn't Rick Smith take over a year later as GM?
Not a year later, that summer. He was just kind of a lame sitting acting GM. They hadn't officially moved on from him because his contract hadn't run out, I think.
All right, whatever. I mean, but it's his draft pick, not Rick Smith's.
Yes, Rick Smith joined in June or July of that year.
Yeah, fair enough. So, I mean, Mario Williams instead of VY, because we're trying to fix David Carr. But then for VY to say it's because you guys didn't like my agent? I'd have fired his ass too. I mean, again, I don't know when you find that out. How many years after Vince Young found out they didn't take him because they didn't like my agent? Is that something that players need to start asking? Hey, you good with my rep? All right, because if not, I'll fire him. I really want to come here, right? I wonder how much that has to factor in. I wonder how much, if a team would actually say, yeah, we don't like working with that guy, we're not going to take you because of that.
That's a crazy thing, though, for a player to be like, yeah, I'll fire my agent in order to play for X team.
Well, I think in their age, at that time, I mean, he's a rookie, It's not like I've had this long relationship with this agent because I wasn't technically allowed to get an agent until I declared for the NFL draft. See, like, for example, Jalen Milroe earlier today declared for the NFL draft. Now he could start the process of hiring an agent or not and go through the pre-draft grading process. If he doesn't like his grade because he hasn't hired an agent, he could always come back to college, right? That's the old rule. Now you have agents while you're in college because they're helping with your NIL stuff. So you have a relationship, a long relationship. I don't know how long of a relationship Vince Young had with his agent. Do you even know who his agent was at the time? Did you look that up?
I didn't, but I can.
Don't worry about it. By the time you do that, I'll be moved on from that. I could sit there and go, okay. I mean, was it a long relationship? But, man, if you're trying to go to a certain place, you got to do your homework too. But you also, at that point, Vince Young doesn't have the long relationship with his agent. So probably easy to fire him.
It's your guy. Lee.
Lee Steinberg was Vince Young's agent coming out of college? Double check that.
Says Lee Steinberg was Vince Young's agent when he was a rookie in the NFL.
I'll text Lee and ask him about this story. That's interesting, if that's true. But I could see where a guy like Cashley and Lee, because you look at all the money that Lee Steinberg has made quarterbacks. And if you were a quarterback and Lee Steinberg picked you up, you were going to be rich. That's just the way it was. That guy could pick quarterbacks. I mean, Lee Steinberg made Patrick Mahomes a first-round pick. People forget that. I mean, you go back and you think about the history. People are like, oh, yeah, Patrick Mahomes. Oh, yeah, he's not going to be a first-rounder. Lee got him there. Lee can pick a quarterback. Part of it. Interesting. Lee Steinberg. See him in about a month down in New Orleans at the Super Bowl. So we're down there for Radio Row. Speaking of football, the UFL announced their schedules today. The San Antonio Brahmas schedule has been released. It's an interesting schedule, and again, because of conflicts with the Dome, they only get 4 home games instead of 5, but their first 4 games are on the road. Season kicks off March 29th. They'll be at Arlington, then at St. Louis, at Michigan, at D.C. Their first home game is not until April 27th, a Sunday afternoon at 2 o'clock against Houston. Then they go at Birmingham. Then D.C. is home. Memphis is home. At St. Louis. At Arlington. Then you get into the championship game. Very, very interesting schedule. Because it's Arlington at San Antonio Sunday, June 1. They got a couple of Friday night games as well this year. But that's a new thing in the UFL, some of the Friday night lights type of action. Looks like they've got Friday, May 9th in San Antonio, May 16th, a Friday night in San Antonio, and then Friday, May 23rd at St. Louis. Overall schedule looks good. The more football, the better, in my mind. Sugar Bowl underway, and just like everybody thought, Gunnar Thompson comes out slinging the ball all over the place. Looks like a PI penalty coming up against Notre Dame. We'll keep you updated on this game throughout. We'll talk about the Peach Bowl with our friend Bob Ballou. He'll join us at 3:35. Ballou, on that short drive back from Atlanta, has nothing else to do, so he's going to jump on with us. We'll talk about that. Let's talk some Cowboys as well here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. You know, nobody ever plans on getting arrested, but it does happen to a lot of people every day for all kinds of reasons. If you get arrested, you want to get out of jail fast, you know the best way to do that is to call my good friend Albert and his great staff at AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text the word bail to 474747, or you can start the bonding process online at mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else to get out of jail. And you don't want to be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you a PR bond, make sure you truly understand what all those conditions are before accepting it. Your best option for stress-free bail bonds is AA Best Bail Bonds because nobody beats their price. They offer payment plans, have a free shuttle service. They're discreet and confidential and open 24/7 with offices all over San Antonio and Texas, services nationwide. So if you're up in Dallas, down in Corpus, anywhere in between, license number 149, call AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121, or go online at mybestbailbonds.com.
It's showtime. Let's do it. It's fun time. Here we go.
South Texas home of the 12-team college football playoff. It's 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. All of the matchups are brought to you by Ewald Kubota, the Break Room Bar, and Smoky Mo's Barbecue. Hear every game on South Texas' first and only FM sports station. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Is reviewing life insurance on your to-do list? Now's the perfect time to add it. A friend recently told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I bumped this up on my list and got it done. I called SelectQuote and couldn't believe how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $16 a month. My husband's also 40 and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote's same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. Knowing I have this checked off my list feels amazing, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-694-1010. That's 1-800-694-1010. Or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. 1-800-694-1010. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
Don't let pain hold you back from living your best life. I'm Dr. Jason Garrett with Arasti. At Arasti, we're dedicated to providing fast, effective relief from pain. Whether you've been dealing with a chronic discomfort for years or have recently suffered an injury, our goal is to help you recover quickly. Our treatment is all natural, non-invasive, and covered by most insurance plans. With convenient locations nearby, relief is just a call away. Visit Arasti.com. That's AIRROSTI.com. Arasti, we fix pain fast.
At Round Table Pizza, we believe in the craft of making great pizza. Inspired by the honor, valor, and revelry of the Knights of the Round Table, our superior pizza and commitment to quality and authenticity have earned the reputation of pizza royalty for over 60 years. Round Table Pizza's signature ingredients, like our made-from-scratch dough, 3-cheese blend, and toppings all the way to the edge, create your perfect pizza. Our tradition of quality reigns king. To find your nearest location or to order for pickup or delivery, head to roundtablepizza.com.
Gain a global perspective and specialized skills that many of today's top employers are seeking with an MBA from University of Maryland Global Campus. Study online and complete your degree in just 16 months for about $21K. Choose from MBA specializations in global business, marketing, HR, finance, and more. Classes start January 8th. Apply now and save with no application fee. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chef.
I've just been feeling so sluggish lately. You should try the Metamucil 2-Week Challenge. The Metamucil 2-Week Challenge? Yeah, Metamucil 4-in-1 Fiber helps trap and remove the waste that weighs you down. Start your daily routine now, and in 2 weeks, you could be feeling great. Well, it's been 2 weeks. How you feeling? Lighter and feeling great.
If you want to feel lighter by promoting digestive health, sign up to take the 2-week challenge at metamucil.com. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Hey, Manny Jr. here with Rock's Discount Vitamins. This holiday season, don't let those extra pounds sneak up on you. We have the largest selection of weight control products to help you stay on track. Boost your metabolism with our non-stimulant fat burners, or try Cuts, which helps your carbs work for you, not against you. With 12 locations across San Antonio, Rock's Discount Vitamins has everything you need to keep your diet in check this holiday season. Find us at rocksdiscountvitamins.com. We thank God and you for your continued support.
At the Home Depot, we know Saturdays are for college football. That's why we have everything you need to never miss a play. Like North America's #1 home fire safety brand, Kidde. Because on a day full of football sounds you love, like fight songs, roaring crowds, and your favorite commentators...
like me, Kirk Herbstreit.
The last sound you want to hear is... Defend your game time with Kidda and the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Based on total household installations as of December 2023.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1, San Antonio Sports Star. Joe Reinagel has the day off. I'm Jason Minix. Happy New Year, everybody. Hope you had a good couple of days celebrating, watching football, enjoying the new year, trying to figure out what day it is. Today is a Thursday. Tomorrow is a Friday. The Blitz is going to be live out at the Freeman Coliseum Expo Hall for the South Texas RV Show. Runs all weekend, runs till 8 o'clock tomorrow night. Of course, we'll be out there tomorrow from 2 to 6, so come hang out with us tomorrow at the South Texas RV Show. So at one point, was it Tuesday, Wednesday? I think it was Tuesday. I'm like you, I've lost track of days. Get an email from the Dallas Cowboys. Statement on the release of Ezekiel Elliott. And just like that, the biggest mistake of the offseason erased. And the BS that, well, we're trying to set him free. Maybe a playoff team wants to pick him up. And, of course, we all joke, what playoff team is going to pick up Zeke? Although, a short-yarded situation, need that extra person. Stranger things have happened. Depending on what you read, maybe he asked for that. Maybe he didn't. I don't know. I mean, this year was weird for Zeke. It was weird for the Dallas Cowboys, just bringing them back in general. We gave Jerry in that front office so much credit for sending him on his way back when they did. And he had that year in New England. There was no reason for him to come back. None whatsoever. That was a bad decision. And every time I see Tampa Bay run the ball with a good rookie, and I think that could have been our guy, it just pisses you. It didn't work. Neither did Cook, although I guess Monday, Tuesday, Reinagel will pay off because I don't think Cook is going to come close to getting over 1,000 yards this year like Reinagel said. That was a bet, a legit beer bet. Reinagel thought, oh, Dalvin Cook, he's going to get 1,000 yards. Beer bet, easy money, or easy beer for me. 12-pack of Flat by Yingling will be in the kitchen soon. I digress. Zeke was awful. All the way through, Zeke was awful. And missed meetings, didn't go on a road trip. It was just bad. So they release him. I don't know that he'll get picked up. I'd be surprised, but not because, NFL teams, especially in the playoffs, you get somebody hurt, you want somebody available. Sure. It's just strange. It was just part of it. Stephen Jones will join us at 5 o'clock today, and we'll get his lip service answer on the release of Zeke and what a great guy he is, and he'll always be a Dallas Cowboy and, whatever. I mean, we'll ask him, even though you kind of know how it's going to respond, being very similar to the statement. But all in all, it was just kind of weird. And it just kind of adds to what the Cowboys' season has been like. And now you get ready for the final game of the year. And for a lot on that coaching staff, including head coach Mike McCarthy, might be their final game as coach of the Cowboys. Mike McCarthy has been steadfast in not answering these kind of questions all year, but especially as of late with the end certainly in sight. Today, he actually opened up a little bit on the subject.
I'll be honest with you. I go to the stadium much earlier, at this time of my career than I used to. And, I won a Super Bowl in that home locker room at AT&T. So I have a very strong emotional attachment that it hits me every time I walk in there, every time I walk out. So, yeah, I'm definitely aware of it. And but, yeah, I know you got Zimmer up here. I am not. You're not getting me today. So, but no, I'm not thinking about it right now. But yeah, I'm definitely in tune with that.
Yeah, Zimmer the other day got a little emotional, and that's the human side of professional sports. It comes with the territory, but there is the human emotion, and the fact that McCarthy talked about as it hit you that it could be your last game. And I'm surprised he answered it, honestly. Surprised that he answered it. Zimmer, he answered it as well. He was on a one-year deal. And for a lot of these guys, I mean, it's a weird business, the coaching profession, because I know on Monday we're going to be talking about all the coaches that got fired, right? And there are a lot of people that are going to celebrate people losing their job, which for the most part, nobody wants to see anybody lose their job, right? Well, I mean, just unless it's coach, right? Or a radio host or a TV person. I mean, it comes with the territory, and you know what you're getting into when you get into that business. But the realization that you've still got to be a pro, you still have to have things, work out, and, kids moving schools, wives, wherever you're happy living, wherever you do want to live, all that kind of stuff. Surprised that today Mike McCarthy actually answered a question about that, and it was more of the reflective kind and the way it was asked. Do you think about, Sunday's drive to the office might be your last as head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, but still got to be a pro. And then you think about, what went wrong this year. And again, I think a lot of the blame starts with the front office. A lot of what went wrong this year started back with the way they approached what, Pledge?
I was going to say all in.
Oh, okay. The way they approached the offseason, the way they handled Dak and CD's contracts, the way they handled the draft and not taking a running back because, we're going to bring Zeke back. Oh, let's go find a Dalvin Cook. It's just incredibly awful the way they handled everything. And I do believe that big part of the offseason, especially early, was Jerry Jones just madder than hell at getting embarrassed by Green Bay. But like every coach and every player, you've got to turn the page and move on to the next. I don't know that Jerry ever did. His offseason was awful. Last couple of years, you could argue that Jerry Jones should have been in the running for Executive of the Year with some of the deals he was able to get done. And that's part of Jerry Jones. He never really gets credit for drafting or free agent signings, but he does get blamed when things go bad. And Jerry's fine with that. But you look at what Jerry's been able to assemble for the most part, while it hasn't resulted, obviously, in Super Bowl wins, don't go there. But, I mean, he's put together Super Bowl caliber rosters. And he had one that lost to Green Bay, and he was mad. I mean, you look at that roster that got embarrassed by Green Bay and try to figure out what went wrong, how it all went wrong. This year, kind of easy. I mean, it was a bad roster to begin with that dealt with a bunch of injuries, and they turned the ball over left and right. Zimmer early in the year looked awful. Late in the year, they've come around and they played better. It's going to be fascinating to see what Jerry and what Steven do with this coaching staff early next week. I mean, whether it's Jerry, whether it's Steven, whether it's Mike, we'll address it after the Washington game. Cool. Jerry, are you going to do that at 3:30 after the game? Or are you going to wait till Monday, Tuesday? I mean, how quickly are we going to know? Mike McCarthy. You start seeing jobs come open. Is Mike McCarthy going to be interested in those jobs? Is there going to be competition for Mike McCarthy? I mean, it's weird because you look at some of the reports out there, and there are teams out there that are interested. You get reports today. Cliff Kingsbury talking today. Cliff Kingsbury says he does want to be a head coach again. Will his name, I mean, we've heard his name rumored for Chicago, but will other teams look at bringing in a Cliff Kingsbury as a head coach? If you're a Washington fan, you better hope not, because, man, could you imagine what year 2 with Jaden Daniels would be if you're Washington? With what you've seen from him and Cliff this year? It's going to be interesting to see what happens. Because, I can always tell you, our promo for the Monday show is already going to be about, Black Monday. Latest on the Cowboys coaching staff and around the league. I mean, How quickly does Jacksonville come open? What's going to happen in Indianapolis? We know it's going to happen. It happens every year. But I was surprised today that Mike McCarthy finally cracked a little bit on the futures talk, and, very reflective, been coming to the office, coming to the stadium earlier. And I can tell you, I get where he's coming from. Every Friday when I do a high school football game, I'm always the first one there because we do the Blitz and then the game. So I get to a stadium on Friday around noon. And there is nothing cooler for me than walking around a completely empty stadium. You might see 2 or 3 maintenance-type workers, but even then, sometimes you don't. I mean, you're the only one in that building. It's just there's a peacefulness about being in an empty stadium and the calm before the storm. And it sounds like Mike McCarthy has been looking for that setting, that peacefulness before every game lately. And they didn't say how many games he's been coming earlier, but, and you come earlier because you want that time by yourself. As the head coach, you walk in and you got stuff going on the entire time. So if you just wanted to go walk around and take it all in, you go early when nobody else is there. Well, I'm surprised that he actually answered that question the way he did today. Going to be interesting to see. The Longhorns will be in that building next Friday. Cotton Bowl, Ohio State, Texas. Next Friday. Blitz is going to be live next Friday out at Popstroke with our friends from Flight by Yingling for a special Flight Friday. Get you ready for the Cotton Bowl game between the Horns and the Buckeyes. Your chance to win a lot of great Yingling prizes as well. Popstroke, the brand new Popstroke, that's where the Blitz is going to be live because Texas survived Arizona State yesterday. Let's talk about it with our good friend Bob Ballou, who is on his way back from Atlanta as we speak. He joins us next here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
South Texas, get ready for the ultimate sports talk experience. Starting this Monday, the one and only Rich Eisen is coming to 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. With over 20 years of NFL experience, Rich Eisen brings breaking stories, expert analysis, and exclusive interviews with sports legends to your airwaves with unmatched wit, insight, and passion. Catch all the action every weekday, noon to 2 p.m. The Rich Eisen Show, only on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now.
800-583-5795.
Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call
800-583-5795. That's 800-583-5795.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
This new year, get started on your next success with University of Maryland Global Campus. Classes start January 8th. Apply now and save with no application fee. An accredited state university, UMGC offers online and hybrid classes while giving you a head start on 2025. Earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's for prior learning and experience, or transfer up to 12 credits toward a master's. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine is excited to announce a partnership that is revolutionizing access to care for orthopedic patients. The HURT app provides free 24/7 access to orthopedic expertise. HURT is the app to have before you need it. Don't wait for an injury to happen. Download HURT now for free, fast virtual access to orthopedic specialists. The HURT app is available online in the App Store and Google Play. Learn more about the HURT app and the OrthoNow Injury Clinic at TSAOG.com.
Awesome Tickets is your personal ticket broker. Big games, big concerts, big events. Need tickets? Stay local and call Awesome Tickets. Stop paying all those crazy fees on ticket apps. Awesome Tickets has your tickets for all the sports, concerts, any city, any event. Avoid the ticket app fees. Since 1994, Awesome Tickets is local and veteran-owned. You deserve Awesome Tickets. Call 210-226-5136 or online at awesometix.com. That's awesometix.com.
This new year, get started on your next success with University of Maryland Global Campus. Classes start January 8th. Apply now and save with no application fee. An accredited state university, UMGC offers online and hybrid classes while giving you a head start on 2025. Earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's for prior learning and experience, or transfer up to 12 credits toward a master's. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
You know the Roo Pub is proven to be the best place to watch any big game with those 3 massive 170-inch screens and TVs all around. Football, basketball, all the fights. And when you show up at the Roo Pub, show up hungry. The food is fantastic. Open daily at 11. Great for lunch, great for dinner, great for late at night, and certainly the best place to watch the game. Just down from the big blind, the Roo Pub, right next to the Angry Elephant. 281 in Redland Road. We'll see you at the Roo.
George gets justice. After being hit by an 18-wheeler, the experienced attorneys of George Salinas Injury Lawyers are San Antonio's choice for getting you the maximum compensation you deserve. With over 110 years of combined experience, they've recovered millions for their clients. 18-wheelers may be bigger than you on the road, but you can be bigger than them in the courtroom. George guarantees that you don't pay unless they win your case. Call 210-225-0909 today for a free consultation. George gets justice. GetGeorge.com.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now.
800-583-5795.
Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-583-5795. That's 800-583-5795.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Welcome to TGL presented by SoFi. Golf's newest league, live on ESPN and ESPN Plus. It's 2 hours of hammer-dropping, overtime-forcing, playoffs on the line golf. Tiger, Rory, and more of the best from the PGA Tour split into 6 teams. Learn more at TGLGolf.com. Tune in every week for TGL matches. Keep up, it's golf.
San Antonio Sports Stars 50K Pro Football Pick'em giveaway is back. Head to SASportsStar.com and pick the winners of each pro football game every week to earn points for each correct pick. Highest points each week wins a $25 gift card to Mellow Mushroom. Highest points overall scores $1,000 worth of tickets from A Awesome Tickets. Pick the winning ticket of every regular season game. Win the grand prize, $50,000. This is an Audience National contest across multiple markets. The 50K Pro Football Giveaway. Register and win at SASportsStar.com.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1, a San Antonio Sports Star. Joe Reinagle has the day off. I'm Jason Minix. Notre Dame and Georgia scoreless right now, 4.5 to play in the first quarter of the Sugar Bowl. Let's talk about what we saw yesterday in the Peach Bowl. The Longhorns survive a double overtime thriller. Bob Ballou from KI Television in Austin on the short drive back from Atlanta has plenty of time to talk about yesterday's game as he joins us on the Buyers Barricades guest line. Bob, where the hell are you, man?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I think we're about 30 miles from Monroe. I know more. I'll tell you one thing I know. We're 146 miles from entering Texas. That's what I know.
From entering Texas. All right, so still have time to stop at a Waffle House for, although you can't do that when the sun is out. Look, we talked last week, and I've watched Arizona State all year because my daughter goes there. I said that's a good physical team, that Texas will win, but Arizona State will cover. I was surprised the way that entire game went ultimately, but not surprised at the final outcome. I thought most of the game would be played like the second half. Texas gets out to the big lead, all gas, no brakes, except for Sark seems to get all gas until he gets a 2-score lead, and then he goes into cruise control. Why is that?
Yeah, I mean, it's happened a few times this year, obviously. I think the bigger thing is, well, I'll say this. The one thing that I think we go back to, there's a bottom line for this Texas team, no matter what happens. We go back to this every time. What's your key to the game? What's going to be the big difference? Like, whatever. So Darby Brown and I, our weekend anchor, were talking in the pregame, like, what's going to make the difference? She said, can Texas slow down Cam Scatterbo? The obvious answer by the end of the game was no. Mine was, can Texas not turn the ball over? Texas turned it over twice. But we say those two things, and then what I say after that is, but in the end, we all know it comes back to, can Texas run the football? When Texas can effectively run the football, they're very hard to beat. Every team that they've played that, like the last, 3 of the last 4 games when they played Kentucky and A&M and Clemson, when Travian Wisner and Jaden Blue have enormous days, Texas ran for 300 yards against Clemson. They win by 2 scores. They're up 28-10. Like, it's not real hard. Like, at this point, you just kind of know. Well, Sark didn't really run the ball yesterday, and some of it was like he even mentioned the limited opportunities. But in the third quarter, think about this: the last 6 games, Texas has scored 6 points in the third quarter total.
Wow!
When they come out of the locker room, it's bad. It's really bad. Now, yesterday was a 3-and-out, and then they're pinned on their own 1, and they fumble, and it's a safety, and those are their only 2 possessions. But that goes back to running the football, and I think that was the biggest surprise to me in all of that game was that with 6.5 minutes to go, the one thing that Sark has had more pride about than almost anything he's done here is that when they play any team and they're up with 6 minutes to go, they run the football. Now, I know they've had some offensive line issues. Guys get hurt. I understand. But that's what they pride themselves on. And sure enough, with 6 minutes to go, they get the ball. They run 6 yards with Travian Wisner. And then what's the second play? It's a deep ball to Isaiah Bond. Like, it doesn't make sense. It's almost like Sark can't help himself sometimes. And I get it. Like, when you're an offensive mind and you have those ideas, like, that's what you want to do, I get it. But that, to me, it was the obvious difference yesterday. Was Texas couldn't run the football at all. And Sark told the team, he said after the game, I told the team we're going to have to throw to win. Which, to me, was just kind of weird. I don't know. But they did. I mean, they threw it. They won it. Quinn was awesome with 5 minutes to go on. But it was a little bizarre to me. Texas has to run the football, or that's what we're going to see. It happened against Georgia. It happened yesterday against Arizona State.
Ballou from KI Television in Austin joining us here on the Blitz on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. We'll get into Quinn, and his numbers from 5 minutes on were incredible, but the interception is there. But let's start with what everybody's talking about today, and that was, when you're sitting in the press box, did you think targeting and what that would mean for Arizona State?
I'm just going to be honest. I didn't think it was targeting. To me, in a lot of ways, sometimes it's interpretation of the rule. Sometimes it's what do you believe is targeting. To me, the receiver caught the ball and turned to make a football move. Michael Taft came in to hit him and never lowered his crown. And my interpretation is it's crown of the helmet into, like, you're trying to do that. Michael Taft was almost straight up parallel. So I don't know how you call that targeting. Now I see, you go on Twitter and you see Gene Steratore say the law of the rule says that's targeting. And I'm like, okay, I guess. I don't know. But then I go back to Quinn's interception and I say, then why is that not targeting on Isaiah Bond when the defender literally leaps into his head and shoulder area and he's a defenseless receiver? Like, I think that's maybe the problem with some of this stuff is it's almost interpretation versus a definitive rule. And it's part of the game. That's the way this will always be. But I saw it live, like, seeing it live, I was like, oh, that might be targeting. And then I saw the replay, and I'm like, I don't think that's targeting.
You know, it's weird because I saw it complete opposite, right? I thought it was going to be targeting.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
and again, now, I saw the replay, but it was helmet to helmet, right? Now, face mask, see what you're going to hit. That's what defenders are taught. I hate the idea. Right. I hate the term defenseless receiver. You're not in a football game and defenseless. You know you're going to get hit. It comes with the territory. And like the play you're 100%. Talking about.
I agree. And I agree with that.
Because
I totally agree with
that.
They
say head and neck area, but he hit him in the shoulder. Well, where does your neck area end? And defenseless.
Right.
I don't know how you're not more defenseless there. And he launched. And again, different rules experts on Twitter, which is such a great place to go find everything, right? Have different interpretations. Even Arizona State's coach Dillingham said afterwards, I don't know what targeting is. I don't know that anybody does. And I am glad refs don't make a decision there that could change a game, because now I've watched Arizona State all year. You thought Auburn was bad yesterday. You should have seen Arizona State's kicking all season. There was no guarantee that, they're in field goal range, but that would end the game.
Yeah, and to that point, I think you can go back through this game, and this is what Texas fans were doing as rebuttal to Arizona State fans, whatever. But like the Cam Scadaboo 62-yard catch, he clearly elbows Michael Tapp and pushes off. I mean, I'm glad they didn't call pass interference. I don't think it really was. But if you're looking at the law of the rule, that's probably pass interference on Cam Scadaboo. So you can do this with a lot of different plays. Obviously, that was a massive play in the game, and that's what everybody's going to point to. But like the Isaiah Bond one's a massive play, because if Texas gets that, it's a first down, and now they can run the ball and do what they want to do offensively. So I don't know. It's difficult. I'm glad Kenny answered it that way, because I think all of us have those questions. And again, and I go back to this too, and I know it never. You can go back and do this with anything. If Arizona State has it 1st and 10 on the Texas 40 with, whatever it was, 50 seconds left in the game, there's no guarantee they're going to score there.
Yep.
I understand the momentum's on their side, and you think they're going to go kick. They've got a chance at a field goal. I get it. But there's no guarantee they're going to score. So all of those things, I think, come into play when you're talking about this. I know the targeting is a big deal, but there's so many other plays that you could go back. Like the offensive lineman pulling Cam Scadaboo into the end zone. From what I've read, that's an illegal play too. So, you could just do this with so many different plays during the game, and I think that could be an issue with it, obviously.
Ballou from KI Television in Austin joining us here on The Blitz. End of one down in New Orleans. It is scoreless in the Sugar Bowl between Georgia and Notre Dame. When you look, at least you got to drive a couple hours to that game and drive back, and at least you saw a hell of a fourth quarter and couple overtimes. I don't even know if that was a great game to be at, but what was the locker room like after Texas survived?
So we're allowed, they have a side room, and they bring like 4 or 5 players in, and that's all we're allowed to do. But those guys were obviously very excited. We got to talk to Andrew McCuba, who made the game-winning interception. You got to understand, and I was smiling ear to ear when he made the pick, not because I'm there rooting for Texas. Sometimes I think we root for the teams we're covering because we know the players, because we like covering this stuff. We want it to continue. All of those kind of things play into it. Andrew McCuba is an Austin kid from LBJ High School that we covered when he was at LBJ. He spent the first 9 years of his life in Zimbabwe and grew up in the worst conditions you could ever come up with in your life. And his family moved to Texas, and he and his brother Fatu, who plays at Sam Houston, get this opportunity to play football. And he goes through the recruiting process. He goes to Clemson. The first time he met Dabo Swinney was the day he walked onto campus at Clemson, because it was COVID, and you couldn't go on-campus recruits. And so he gets on campus at Clemson. He's a freshman All-American, decides to transfer to Texas, has just a stellar season for the Horns. When you cover a kid and you get to know him a little bit, you can't help but root for him. When you know Andrew McCuba's story, you can't help but root for him. This was special to see a kid like this get the game when he picks. So we talked to Andrew, Gunnar Helm, Trey Wisner, those guys talking about Quinn, the dog in him, the warrior in him. So it was pretty cool. I mean, it's cool to see those guys that you cover get to celebrate something so big.
Absolutely. Let's talk about Quinn, a guy that you have covered and defended seemingly for years now. Quinn starts great, and then it's very pedestrian in the middle, and then he throws the interception. And from that point on, 5 minutes left in regulation in the 2 overtimes, 11 of 14, 161 yards and 2 touchdowns. 4th and 13. Game is on the line. That could have been his final pass as a Texas Longhorn. Could have been. But it's a touchdown strike. You can't throw better. The calmness that he was playing with down the stretch. Yeah. I know we've talked about this before. There's times where I question it and times like that was just ice water in the veins. What was he like post-game?
Yeah, I mean, the same as he always is. I think everybody just talks about he's never too up, he's never too down. And, yes, you'll see a little fire. Like when he had the rushing touchdown, he got up and was, like, fired up. He gets a little frustrated, obviously, if you throw a pick like that or whatever. But he's done that for the last 2 years. In the biggest of moments, he's been really good. Even last year in the Washington game, I know those last 4 plays, they left a little to be desired, but you got to get down there. And he makes that throw to Jordan Whittington that was just on the money to get him down there. So I go back to this a lot. I think that it was a weird game in the sense that Arizona State just had the ball the whole time. Again, Texas wasn't running it, so when they throw it, if you have a couple incompletions or short catches and you don't get a first down, you got to punt it right back, and then Arizona State just chews clock, and it doesn't allow you to get in any kind of rhythm offensively. They had the third quarter where they had, I think, 4 plays, and then you get to the fourth quarter of a game where Quinn goes and scores a touchdown. They're up 24-8. You're feeling pretty good. Arizona State scores. He throws the pick. They score again. Now you're tied. Well, what does Quinn do in that moment? He leads them down to the 30. Bert Auburn misses a field goal. They get the ball back on the Arizona State punt after, again, the targeting thing. And they're like on their own 20 with 57 seconds left. What does Quinn do? Leads them on a 60-yard drive and gives them a 37-yard field goal, a 38-yard field goal to win the game. Like, he does it over and over again. And then to see the overtime when the throw to Matthew Golden will be one, I don't know how much you've actually had a chance to dive into it, but he literally he sees the receiver come in motion and he stops him and he readjusts the line, audibles, and then they run the play the exact play they wanted to run. Even Sark said we had to kind of guess that they were going to come at us and throw some guys at us. They picked it up perfectly. Quatravian Wisner hits a guy in the hole to stop him from coming to getting at Quinn. And then Quinn throws the dart to Matthew Golden. Then, the very next play in the second overtime throws a perfect pass to Gunnar Helm. So there's just so much to be said for him. And I know that we've gotten into this Arch thing a bunch, but that's why you have this guy in this situation. This is the whole reason that Sark trusts him. He dealt with the oblique injury all year. I still believe that's why he wasn't himself. The ankle injury comes. He just plays straight through it. Those guys believe in him. They trust in him. He is that dog that you need in the locker room. And Sark, I think Sark's quote was, "Quinn's a G." Like that's how he started it. And he just is. And so I get the excitement for Arch. I have all season. I've said that all season. I understand why people want to see him. But while you've got Quinn Ewers, you've got to appreciate him, especially for what he's done in leading this program to back-to-back semifinals in the last 2 years.
Then, of course, he's going to have to do it next week against Ohio State. We'll get into that probably next week with that matchup. Because I want to ask you about Bert Auburn. Now, he's been good in his career, but he hasn't been great this year. But as closely as you follow this team, and as well as you know Sark, were you surprised to see Sark spending that time during the timeout, arms on him, face-to-face? You never see coaches talk to kickers, ever. Now, they were smiling, seemingly laughing, whatever he was doing. And if he makes the kick, you talk, man, that's brilliance. That's a coach that knows his player. But he goes out and he doinks it. I've never seen a coach do that before. How much did that surprise you?
You want to hear a crazy one? You know who did it?
Who?
Mac Brown to Justin Tucker in 2011 before he kicked the game winner against A&M.
Really?
And that was something I remember at the time thinking to myself, interesting. Like, Mac's talking to his kicker before the biggest kick in the, maybe not in the history of Texas football, but right up there. And I thought about that yesterday when I saw that shot. I was like, that's what Mac did to Justin Tucker. If you have that relationship with your kicker, and also you got to realize he didn't do it on the 48-yarder, and Auburn pushed it. So maybe he's just like, I know my guy. I trust him. I love him. This is the moment I'm going to go tell him, like, hey, and whatever he said, we kind of joked, like, he looks at him, he says, hey, in 2 minutes, you're going to be the hero. We're going to be carrying you off the field, and this is awesome. And what a moment. Look around, enjoy it, appreciate it. And now maybe Sark goes, okay, if we have that situation again, I don't do that. So I don't know. Bert's been in a funk for a while, especially in that stadium. I think he went either 4 of 6 against Georgia in the SEC title game. Last year, if my numbers are correct, last year he was 9 of 12 from beyond 40 yards. This year he's 6 of 14. Now, what makes that number kind of a little more interesting, under 40 yards this year, he was 9 for 9. He had not missed. So you get that opportunity there, you're like, well, I mean, he's automatic here. He's not going to miss this. But sometimes it just gets in your head a little bit. Confidence is a real thing, and the mental state of being a kicker is a real thing. So we'll see what the move is. They've got their kickoff guy is Will Stone, a guy from Austin. They could turn to him, or they just say, hey, Bert, keep working at it. We trust you. We believe in you. And then maybe if he misses another one, you do it. I don't know. But your team. I mean, Sark knows his team. He knows his kickers. Jeff Eggs knows the kickers. He'll make those decisions. But you kind of get to a point in your year where you just have to trust your guys. That's kind of the end of it. They're either going to make plays or they're not. And when Bert didn't make a play, the team kind of saved him. And now you go back to it. You say, okay, what's our next move?
Bob Ballou from KI Television in Austin, driving back from Atlanta. Now, because we understand it's about you, Bob. You think about Friday in the Cotton Bowl against Ohio State. Your confidence level that you're going to be making this drive back to Atlanta in 2 weeks.
So I actually feel pretty good about it, and I'm probably one of the few right now.
Yeah, you are.
I understand why Ohio State, since the loss to Michigan in those 2 games, has looked outstanding. There's just something about this Texas team, and I don't think you can put your finger on it at all times. I know Ohio State's been great, but Texas has been pretty great too, defensively especially. Quinn's been really good. What a setup for this, right? Quinn goes to Ohio State out of high school, leaves high school early, goes to Ohio State. He's the 4th quarterback. He doesn't play at all, except maybe 1 snap his freshman year. Transfers to Texas. Now he gets to play Ohio State in the stadium where he won a Big 12 championship last year, but also lost to Westlake in the state championship game. He's 20 miles from Southlake, 25 minutes from his house. Like, you can't ask for a more full circle moment. I think this is just going to be an awesome game. I don't see Ohio State just blowing Texas out. I think people forget how good Texas has been this year. I think Texas is going to find a way to win this game. And like I said, I know I'm one of the few right now because of what we've seen, but they just keep doing it. They just keep finding a way. And I think they're going to do it, and I think they're going to play Penn State in the national championship.
There you go. Bob Ballou here on the Blitz, driving back from Atlanta. Got a couple more hours to go. What time's your GPS say you're going to get home tonight?
We get home at 10:18. I thought we were just going to be on the radio for the next 6 hours. Is that not the case?
I mean, if you know when to take all the right breaks, I don't mind going home.
Do I have Stephen Jones coming up at 4:35? Is that my next interview?
Yeah, he's already pushed it to 5. So
I love it.
So we'll see. Stephen Jones at 5 o'clock. Georgia has gone up on Notre Dame now 3-0 with a field goal down at the Sugar Bowl. Real quick, Bob, because I am up against a break. With this game delayed, was there weirdness going into the stadium yesterday, knowing what happened in New Orleans overnight?
Honestly, no, not at all. I think the scary part for us, and I try not to. I mean, we're not trying to insert ourselves in this at all, but a year ago, I was out on Bourbon Street at 3 a.m. with a friend of mine from another station, in that exact spot, like in that front area, and honestly, that was a little terrifying. And to think if Texas beats Georgia in the SEC title game, we would have been in New Orleans. Like you think about those things, and I mean, my heart just pours out for all those people for everything that happened there. But yeah, it's awful. I didn't think much about it in Atlanta, but it's certainly one of those things that it's just crushing. It's crushing to think about what happened.
Absolutely. Bob, continued driving home safely. Get home at 10:18, just in time to be on the air at 10:20.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. I wouldn't be surprised if they asked, but we've already turned something. We got a Quinn Ewers story that we're running tonight. So
Yeah, just write the show on the road, man. Just pull over at a Buc-ee's and do a live shot.
Well, we're about to the Independence Bowl in Shreveport. Maybe we'll do it there.
Oh, that's all right. Good. Enjoy, man. Thank you. We'll talk next week about the game against Ohio State.
Thanks, brother. Happy New Year, man.
Appreciate it. Happy New Year to you guys. Drive safe. Ballou from KI Television on the Buyers Barricades guest line, where they provide traffic control, rental, and sales for San Antonio and beyond, online at buyersbarricades.com. We'll talk more about this game, try to figure out what the hell is targeting. Coming up here on The Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
You're listening to The Blitz. Afternoons 2 to 6. KTFM Floresville. And everywhere at sasportstar.com. South Texas, get ready. The legendary Rich Eisen debuts on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star this Monday. Rich delivers breaking stories and exclusive interviews every weekday, noon to 2 p.m. The Rich Eisen Show on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
The current federal government is actually going $1 trillion deeper in debt every 100 days. That's why thousands are turning to Goldco, a top-rated gold company, to diversify their savings with time-tested safe haven assets, physical gold and silver. Right now, not only is Goldco offering a free gold and silver kit, but on qualified purchases, they'll give you up to a 10% instant match in bonus silver. Call 855-838-GOLD. That's 855-838-GOLD. Performance may vary. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
Are you facing divorce, a child custody battle, or a complex family dispute? AJ here for the Hicks Law Firm. Attorney John Hicks brings unique experience to the table. As a veteran and first responder, he knows the challenges, he knows the pressure, and he knows how to fight for what's yours. The Hicks Law Firm offers flat-free representation from beginning to end and payment plans so you can get representation now. Visit jhickslawfirm.com for a free consultation. That's jhickslawfirm.com, a local law firm with the national resources you need to win.
Hi, I'm Manny Jr. from Rock's Discount Vitamins. If you're looking to build muscle, strength, and boost athletic performance, check out our huge selection of anabolic pro-hormones. These powerful supplements provide your body with essential nutrients for muscle growth, faster recovery, fat loss, and even improved bone health and libido. Visit one of our 12 San Antonio locations or go online at rocksdiscountvitamins.com to learn more. That's rocksdiscountvitamins.com. We thank God and you for your continued support. rocksdiscountvitamins.com.
All right, when it comes to getting life insurance for your family, a lot of excuses can get in the way. But ask yourself this: if something were to happen to me, who would pay the mortgage, the kids' education, and the other bills? Then forget the excuses and check out Ethos Life, the online, easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes. Ethos has rates that you can afford, like a $500,000 policy for a 40-year-old male starting at $1 a day or $30 a month, with a few health questions and no medical exam. Get your free quote right now at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com. Not available in all states. Rates do vary.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6759. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6759. That's 800-575-6759. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
I've just been feeling so sluggish lately. You should try the Metamucil 2-week challenge. The Metamucil 2-week challenge? Yeah, Metamucil 4-in-1 fiber helps trap and remove the waste that weighs you down. Start your daily routine now, and in 2 weeks, you could be feeling great. Well, it's been 2 weeks. How you feeling? Lighter and feeling great.
If you want to feel lighter by promoting digestive health, sign up to take the 2-week challenge at metamucil.com. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
The current federal government is actually going $1 trillion deeper in debt every 100 days. That's why thousands are turning to Goldco, a top-rated gold company, to diversify their savings with time-tested safe haven assets, physical gold and silver. Right now, not only is Goldco offering a free gold and silver kit, but on qualified purchases, they'll give you up to a 10% instant match in bonus silver. Call 855-838-GOLD. That's 855-838-GOLD. Performance may vary. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray.
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
San Antonio's Sports Center.
In the Sugar Bowl, currently right now, number 2 Georgia leads Notre Dame 3-0 with just over 9 minutes to go in the second quarter. Earlier this week, Texas survived their quarterfinal matchup against Arizona State, 39-31 in double overtime, and they'll face Ohio State, who cruised over top-seeded Oregon, 41-21.
SportsCenter is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
Joe Reinagel.
That's the third time in 7 seasons the San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Joe Reinagel has the day off. I'm Jason Minix on this Thursday that kind of feels like, I don't know, maybe a Monday, maybe a Wednesday. I don't know. I mean, I know a lot of people seem to be that way. What day is it? Because for a lot of you, you worked on Monday, you're off Tuesday and Wednesday, or maybe you worked on Tuesday, but you were certainly off Wednesday, and now it's Thursday. You had a grazing day of football yesterday, but then you come back and you get some football today, and it's now 3-3 Notre Dame and Georgia down there in the Sugar Bowl, and we'll keep you updated throughout the game. Our bowl coverage all bowl season brought to you by our friends at Smoky Mo's Barbecue, the break room bar over there in Live Oak and Ewald Kubota, and because of the horrific scene there in New Orleans, the game was delayed and postponed till this afternoon, which is why we're getting, this game today, this afternoon. And, one of the few games, we'll get into it coming up, that, the bye week has an effect. It's crazy when you look at what's happened so far in the playoffs. The teams with the bye have all been flat in the first half, all of them, Arizona State included. Arizona State woke up and made it a game. The rest of these games they haven't been great. If you're running college football, how do you fix this? I mean, it's one thing to say there's something broken, but do you have a solution to make it better? I mean, when you look at Boise State certainly getting exposed as, a team that got a first-round bye, and Penn State just rolls them. Genty, playing that, a couple of fumbles in that game. He doesn't normally have that. Is that because of time off? Oregon gets the bye, and they're still on it. They're staying on it. That was an ugly game. Credit Ohio State. So what would you do to fix the bowl system? I mean, and granted, you think about all the blowouts that we've had over time with the playoffs. It happens more often than these great games that we all want. A lot of times these games are blowouts, but in reality, you look at the 12 teams that have gotten in and the lack of great games that we've had, although TV ratings have been good, you just wonder what can college football do to make the playoffs more competitive, make the games more competitive. Is it reseeding? Is it getting rid of, the first-round buys have to go to a conference champion? I don't know. I mean, are there teams now watching this say, you know what, I don't know that I want that buy? Because there is something about staying in a rhythm and playing good football, and you're seeing that with Ohio State. I mean, they destroy Tennessee and pick up right where they left off. Georgia, Notre Dame, though, right now 3-3, and both teams look a little rusty. And I don't know. And again, the game is in Pledger Studio, so there's glass between me and the TV. Obviously, I'm not listening to the game. I don't know what the commentary is, and I'm not watching every play like I would be if I was in a different spot, right? But at the same time, so I don't know if the teams are rusty or they're just two evenly matched teams and we're getting the game that we want to see. But at the same time, I could understand this game being a little rough to start, just having the weight and just nerves. The feeling of in that building, are we safe? Although, there's probably not a safer building right now than that Superdome and the extra police presence that you can certainly see at the game. You've seen it on social media, the way they reopened Bourbon Street and, the security that's down there. New Orleans looks safe, but, there's got to be a little bit of an uneasy feeling. And it's middle of the afternoon. You were prepared to play. And for Georgia, going with a quarterback that they weren't expecting to use this year, seems to be holding his own and actually not bad at throwing the ball. That Gunner kid, man, he was here in the All-American Bowl. And I remember reading about him, talking to him last year, getting ready for the game, and his numbers in high school are incredible. I mean, and you think about some of the quarterbacks' records that he broke while he was in high school. Everybody thinks of him now as he's just this running quarterback, but you look at his passing numbers from high school, and the kid can throw the ball. He is just a hell of an athlete, which is why he was in the All-American Bowl last year. But playing in a playoff game is far different than whatever Gunner Stockton's doing in high school, and certainly when he came into the SEC championship game, he ran the ball there because it was safe. He's had a little bit of time to prepare and get ready, and by all accounts, I've seen a couple of bad throws, but I've seen some really good darts that he has thrown. It's going to be interesting to see. Speaking of the Navy All-American Bowl, you want to see tomorrow's stars today? And when I say today, I mean next Saturday, January 11th, in the Alamo Dome. We got a family 4-pack of tickets to give away for the Navy All-American Bowl and the San Antonio Sports All-Star football game. It is the best of the best. The area's top high school senior players in the San Antonio Sports All-Star football game presented by Valero. And, of course, you've got the national game that's at noon, the Navy All-American Bowl. 2 games, 1 ticket. The family 4-pack also includes 4 free Whataburgers. Pledge just put up Gunner Stockton right now, 8 of 9 for 131 yards. That's pretty impressive. But I've seen a couple of incompletes. Were there penalties on those other ones? Like he threw one out of bounds. I know there was a flag on that. 8 of 9 for 131. Yeah, I don't think Notre Dame was expecting that. I'm expecting you to call in and win these tickets to go to the All-American Bowl. Let's see. Caller 9. 210-656-ESPN. 656-3776. Caller 9. You're going to win that 4-pack of tickets. 2 games, 1 ticket, plus 4 free Whataburgers. 210-656-ESPN. 656-3776. Caller 9. You're going to get those tickets. Again, the games Saturday, January 11th at the Alamo Dome. First game's at noon. Second game at 5 o'clock. It's always a fun day in the Alamo Dome. Both games will also be live right here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Let's talk about the college football playoffs. Ohio State crushing Oregon, Penn State rolling Boise State. What we've seen so far in this Georgia Notre Dame game. Coming up here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
South Texas College Football Headquarters. Time of the year for fans. Bowl season is no exception. The biggest and best matchups this bowl season are brought to you by Ewald Kubota, the Break Room Bar, and Smoky Mo's Barbecue. Hear them all on South Texas' first and only FM sports station, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Hey, Manny Jr. here with Rock's Discount Vitamins. This holiday season, don't let those extra pounds sneak up on you. We have the largest selection of weight control products to help you stay on track. Boost your metabolism with our non-stimulant fat burners, or try Cuts, which helps your carbs work for you, not against you. With 12 locations across San Antonio, Rock's Discount Vitamins has everything you need to keep your diet in check this holiday season. Find us at rocksdiscountvitamins.com. We thank God and you for your continued support.
It's football time at BetMGM. Use code KOSTOS, KOSTOS, and receive up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet. When you register with BetMGM, you'll get instant access to a variety of parlay selection features, live betting options, original bets, and the best daily promotions in the business. Use code KOSTOS, KOSTOS, and get up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 years of age or older. New customer offer. This U.S. promotional offer not available in Mississippi, New York, Nevada, Ontario, or Puerto Rico. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. For New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. For Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. For Massachusetts, call 1-800-327-5050. For Iowa, call 1-800-BETS-OFF. For Puerto Rico, call 1-800-981-0023. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards are non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 7 days in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
For a limited time, receive a free reverse osmosis drinking station when you buy a Connecticut water softener. A free drinking water system installed at your kitchen sink with the cleanest, best-tasting water you've ever had. Better for your coffee maker. Better for cooking. Better for everything. Free with the purchase of a Connecticut water softener, but only for a limited time.
Trust me, Connecticut water systems are the best of the best. I personally have one in my home. All those other water softener systems out there are junk in comparison. Connecticut uses less water and runs on kinetic energy.
And is the last water softener you'll ever own. Right now, receive a free reverse osmosis drinking water station when you buy a Connecticut water softener. This is a limited time offer, so don't wait. Call us at 656-PURE.
Check them out at ConnecticutSA.com and tell them Dave Ramsey sent you.
The last water softener you'll ever own. Call 656-PURE. Connecticut.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
It's the most wonderful time of the year, except when your family's starting to get on your nerves. When you need to escape for a little while, head down to SA Card House. Have yourself a good meal. Have yourself a good drink. Win yourself some money on the card tables. 281 in bidders. It's SA Card House.
70,000 people are here, and Bob Dylan is the reason for it.
Inspired by the true story.
For anyone who's going to hold your attention on stage, you have to kind of be a freak.
Are you a freak?
Hope so.
And starring Timothée Chalamet as Bob Dylan. He defied everyone.
Turn it down! Play loud!
To change everything.
Make some noise, BD.
Timothée Chalamet, Edward Norton, Elle Fanning, Monica Barbaro, a complete unknown. Now playing only in theaters. Rated R, under 17, not admitted without parent.
Get 5 quarts of O'Reilly Full Synthetic Motor Oil and a MicroGuard oil filter for $29.99. In-store only. Limit supply.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
1, 2, 3, Cowboys! South Texas, home of the Dallas Cowboys. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Sunday at noon, the Cowboys take on the Washington Commanders.
I like this kind of party!
Pre-games starts at 11. Presented by AA Best Bail Bonds and Ewald Kubota.
You asked for it, you got it! How about them Cowboys?
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. South Texas home of the Dallas Cowboys. It's The Blitz with Jason and Joe on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It is The Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Joe Reinagle has the day off. I'm Jason Minix. James Pledger producing. As always, Sugar Bowl tied at 3 right now in the second quarter, late in the second quarter. 4 minutes to play here in this first half down there in New Orleans. Notre Dame with the ball near midfield. They've got it right now at the 43. They're 43. Trying to get some points, maybe take a lead before halftime. There is, the domino effect of what we've seen. The Gator Bowl tonight, they've pushed kickoff back for that game, Duke and Ole Miss. And if you're Lane Kiffin, you better have a good showing tonight because, all the complaining that you weren't invited to the party like Alabama, you better show up for your bowl game that you're in. Tomorrow, the First Responder Bowl will happen. Texas State against North Texas, a game that you'll be able to listen to over on San Antonio's ESPN AM at 1250. An afternoon game for the First Responder Bowl tomorrow. I think it's 3 o'clock tomorrow. 3 o'clock over on AM 1250. Notre Dame's punting, so they're not going to be able to, at least not on that possession, take the lead. Fair catch down at the 12-yard line. Our bowl coverage brought to you by Smoky Mo's Barbecue, the Break Room Bar in Live Oak, and Ewald Kubota. So there is one more football game tonight. Then, of course, tomorrow is you go through bowl season. I just heard the commercial there for the Bob Dylan movie. Does anybody watch that? I at first I didn't know that I was interested, but I've seen some trailers and I've read some stuff. Now I'm very interested. I'm also, when I say we're also almost at the point where we got to find new shows to watch because football season is coming to an end. Now, if you haven't been watching Landman, you should. That's fantastic. But I started watching, a friend of mine told me about a show called Lioness. Now, it's in its second season. I started it last night because I didn't have a football game. I didn't realize, I thought it was new. I pull it up, it's already in season 2. That's actually, I'm one episode in, but I'm like, all right, this looks pretty good. We're gonna have to start figuring out new shows to watch. And now that I've got that magic TV box where I get everything, it doesn't matter. Let me know what you're watching because chances are it's gonna be on that box. I'll be good to go. You might want to do that on Sunday because this NFL Sunday is going to be this NFL Sunday has the makings of being, I don't know, preseason week 2. There might be some good, but there's going to be a lot of bad. There's going to be a lot. Even the Vegas lines are all over the place. I just looked up the Circa Sports lines from Circa. Saturday, we get 2 games. The Ravens are an 18-point favorite over the Cleveland Browns. 18-point favorite, according to Circa Sports. 18. Now, Baltimore needs to win, right? So they're not going to be resting players, right? Aren't there playoff implications? They clinch the AFC North and a 3 seed with a win, or Pittsburgh loss or tie. You look at Pittsburgh, they also play on Saturday against the Bengals. The Bengals are a 2-point favorite over Pittsburgh. But the Ravens are an 18-point favorite. The Bucks are a 13.5-point favorite over the Saints. Because the Bills aren't playing anybody. Josh Allen's going to make a cameo, whatever that means. The Bills are a 2-point favorite over the Patriots. The Packers are a 10-point favorite over the Bears. The Dolphins a 1-point favorite over the Jets. Broncos are a 10.5-point favorite over the Kansas City Chiefs because the Chiefs have already said they're not playing anybody, and Denver has to win. The Chargers, 4-point favorites over the Raiders. The Colts and Jaguars in that thriller. Colts are a 5-point favorite. Falcons are an 8-point favorite over the Panthers. Washington, a 5-point favorite over the Cowboys. Seahawks, 6.5 over the Rams. And the Rams aren't playing anybody. Does that tell you how bad Seattle is? Cardinals, 4.5-point favorite over the Niners. The Tennessee Titans are a 2-point favorite over the Houston Texans. And what I find remarkable about that is we all assume the Texans are going to rest everybody, but DeMeco Ryans hasn't said anything officially about resting a bunch of guys. Lions, in really the one game that everybody's waiting for. Lions, 2.5-point favorites over the Minnesota Vikings. Eagles, 2.5 over the Giants. But, this Sunday is going to be one of those weird Sundays where, all right, I'm a Cowboy fan. I'm going to watch the Cowboys and Washington play because, I want to see Trey Lance. I want to see a lot of Trey Lance. Why not? Do we give up a 4th-round pick for that guy? You got to get one regular season game out of him. Do we actually, since Zeke isn't on the team anymore, does Dalvin Cook get a chance to go for that 1,000 yards that Joe Reinagle, his preseason prediction that Dalvin Cook would lead the Cowboys in rushing this year and go over 1,000 yards? For a guy that, and I wish he were here, and I'll say this to him, and I've been saying it to him, but he gave me so much crap a year ago when I said the Cowboys could have an historically great defense on bad takes. Is anything worse than his bad take that Dalvin Cook would lead the Cowboys in rushing and go over 1,000 yards? He even made a beer bet on that. It's kind of a red zone day. There are some games that do have some playoff implications that you expect might be pretty good, but for the most part, they're not. For the most part, this weekend's games aren't gonna be great until you get to Sunday night. What's the song say? Waiting all day for Sunday night? We really are waiting all day for Sunday night for that Vikings-Lions game, because that is the one game. And seeing what Detroit did last week at San Francisco, that game didn't mean anything except for to those guys in the locker room. And Dan Campbell, I didn't expect him to play all his guys. I really didn't. I thought, all right, man, play maybe a little bit, but you've already lost Montgomery. Are you going to run Gibbs a lot? Yeah, well, he did. You're going to pull Goff? Are you going to? As beat up as they are, no, that's not the way Dan Campbell thinks. Other coaches are like, we don't want you to get hurt. We got to save you for the playoffs. You look at Nick Sirianni. Nick Sirianni, that's one thing not to play Jalen Hurts. He's coming off of a concussion. Saquon, 101 yards away from breaking Eric Dickerson's single-season rushing record. And Nick Sirianni has decided we're going to sit Saquon Barkley. Or we're going to put him in a little bubble wrap, and we're going to make sure that he doesn't get hurt because the team goal is winning the Super Bowl. And I generally, all right, cool, I'm good with that. Except for this time. If you're Saquon Barkley, you're saying all the right things, but I'm curious how he really feels. Now, Saquon is the ultimate team guy. I think we've learned that throughout his career. He even said it's more important to his family than it is to him. But I think in the long run, especially the business side of life for Saquon post-football, he'll command more money at autograph shows if he's the single-season rushing record. The little inscription that he could have there, people would pay extra money for that. It's true. That's how that side of the world works. Part of the reason why Eric Dickerson, I think, doesn't want that to go away, because he wants to be able to, continue to cash in on that. Again, Saquon says all the right things.
He asked me if I wanted to play, if I want to go for it. I said on Sunday, I probably didn't care too much for it. When I slept on it, it was an opportunity to implant my name in football history. I may never get another opportunity like that again. So I'm down, but at the end of the day, I don't care for putting the team at risk. He's the head coach for a reason. He makes the decisions, and whatever decision he wanted to make, I let him know if you want me to play, I'm going to go out there and make sure I get it. And if we don't, I'm okay with that too.
Yeah, if I'm Saquon, I'm campaigning to play. Although that's not in Saquon's nature. From everything that I could tell, I don't know Saquon Barkley. But everything that you hear about the guy in every interview that he does. But if I'm that offensive line, I want Saquon to play. Because that's as much of a record for those guys as it is for Saquon. And you realize if he does not play and they don't win the Super Bowl, everybody in that locker room is going to feel different about Nick Sirianni's decision. Now, if they go and win the Super Bowl, all right, man, you got it. But if he doesn't play and basically 101 yards away against a wet paper-thin Giants defense, and it's his former team, he could do it against his former team that didn't want him. They chose Daniel Jones over him. To break the record against those guys, you have to do it. You have to. But if you don't, and you don't win the Super Bowl, because that's the one thing. Getting 2,000 yards, that's a small club. And the idea that, I'll sit this one, I'll get another chance at it, you have no idea if you're going to get another chance at getting this close to the record. A record that has stood for 40 years. And it's not one of those that's always been talked about as one of those unbreakable records. Like you look at it, hey, Emmitt Smith, you're pretty safe because of the style of football. The way football is now, seeing a 2,000-yard rusher, the fact that we had two that came close, although Derrick Henry obviously dropped off late, but, I mean, there for a while you wondered, could we get two 2,000-yard rushers in a season? To be this close, you go for it. Go for it. I know he's saying all the right things. I wonder how much he's really, really thinking about, how much he wants it. The people in his ear, the family, his agent. I mean, he got 2,000. He did that against Dallas. And I'm sure there was probably some incentive in his contract. So, I mean, he got that. But for the rest of your life, or until somebody else breaks the record, and this one stood for 40 years, who knows? 2,000 yards in a season, he's 101 yards away. I'm surprised that Nick Sirianni is shutting him down.
Wasn't that big for our guy Drew Pearson, too, changing the R to an H?
Oh, yeah.
In his signatures?
What are you talking about? Autograph? Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, look.
R-O-H to H-O-F?
Yeah, no. When you look at the autograph side of things, the autograph business and the inscriptions, when Drew finally made the Ring of Honor, his price went up. Then you go into the Hall of Fame, your price goes up. The number of events you do with a higher price goes up. The Brett Favre, Mark Gastineau thing that went wild the other day, a big part of that is it cost Mark Gastineau a lot of money not being the sack leader. When you lose that, all of a sudden, you're not getting invited to all the autograph shows or your price. I don't want to say, it's not the same, right? I mean, when people are, and if you've ever gone to these autograph shows, you're in there and, all right, you want them to, write your name. And if you want this inscription, you add $25, $50, $15, whatever it is, depending on who it is. But you want that on your autograph, and it's there. And some of those guys, they have exclusive deals with the TriStars and these guys and those guys that they can only sign that inscription at that, but they get paid a lot of money because that market is so lucrative. I mean, you watch some of these, go to some of these shows, but what was the Netflix documentary one on autograph? With whatever group that was, you realize how much money is involved there. How often we see videos of, name a player and, there's a hotel ballroom and there's 500 helmets that they're going to go sign, right? And they're all signed a little bit differently, or you're sitting there with all the jersey numbers. I mean, for Saquon Barkley, the future revenue that he could make if he were to get 101 yards, 102 yards Sunday against the Giants is I don't know enough about it to say how much he could be leaving on the table, but I imagine he could call some people and get an idea of how much money could be made if he were to break that record.
Could part of this also be, though, just the difference in generational wealth between this year's generation of players and yesteryear?
What does that mean?
Just it's not as important because I'm setting myself up much greater than those players.
Well, sure. I mean, you're right. But when Eric Dickerson was in the NFL making whatever he was making compared to what guys are making now, his lifestyle was still at a level that most people weren't going to have. I mean, we talked about this not long ago with Joe Theismann in Washington, D.C., when he was like, the fourth highest paid guy that year, right at $1 million a year. And he's like, but I was living large because $1 million back then is, so yeah, there's generational wealth there. But you know what I know about rich people? They're always trying to make more. There's never enough for rich people never say, I'm good. In fact, rich people, a guy like Saquon, especially if he were to get 103 yards, 102 yards, if he breaks the record, depends on how many shows he wants to do. Well, you know what? My price is this, and I'll do fewer shows, but you're going to pay me more to show up. Or I'll do them all, but here's my price. I'm going to continue to make more money. It's the way it is. Notre Dame has just added on another field goal. They now lead Georgia 6-3 with about 38 seconds to play in the first half down at the excuse me. Down at the Sugar Bowl. So a field goal fest down in New Orleans. 6-3 is the score right now. 38 seconds to play. We'll see if Georgia can get anything going before halftime. Looks like it's been a pretty good game. Better than, like I said, a lot of the games that you're going to see on Sunday, with so many of the games meaningless. Some mean something, but I tell you what, you want to have some fun, add some excitement to watching the games on Sunday. It's a perfect reason why you need to be playing the Pick'em game at Underdog Fantasy, the best place to cash in on all your takes during the regular season, the playoffs. You can get in on some second half Pick'em entries here with the Sugar Bowl going on right now. Be like me and over 5 million other happy players playing the Pick'em game. And with their Pick'em game, you could win up to 1,000 times your money just by choosing higher or lower on player stats. Underdog is the only Pick'em platform that puts the power to cash out in your hands. You can either keep riding with your entry or tap the Win Now button and cash out whenever you want. And with Underdog's double flex option, you can even take 2 L's and turn them into a W. Underdog is the best place to play Pick'em. Download the app, sign up with my promo code STAR, and deposit now and get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly. Again, promo code STAR at Underdog Fantasy. Must be over 18, present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. Again, promo code STAR at Underdog Fantasy.
South Texas, get ready for the ultimate sports talk experience. Starting this Monday, the one and only Rich Eisen is coming to 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star. With over 20 years of NFL experience, Rich Eisen brings breaking stories, expert analysis, and exclusive interviews with sports legends to your airwaves with unmatched wit, insight, and passion. Catch all the action every weekday, noon to 2 p.m. The Rich Eisen Show, only on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting rules for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop, opt out. Consult a doctor prior to use.
Wow, you look amazing. What have you been doing?
I'm sure you've heard of Ozempic, Wegovy, and the other GLP-1 medications, right? Well, I found this great company called Zelfie. If you qualify, their providers can prescribe medications like Ozempic and Wegovy and other GLP-1 medications that are 80 to 90% less expensive, all 100% online.
I can get GLP-1 medications for 80 to 90% less and do it all online? No doctor's office or pharmacy?
Yes, Zelfie can provide semaglutide or tirzepatide, the active ingredients in Ozempic and other expensive GLP-1s, but for 80 to 90% less and shipped directly to your door.
How do I get started with Zelfie?
Just send them a text.
Text LINE to 200-300 to get started today with Zelfie. Get the same active ingredients in Wegovy or Ozempic, but for 80 to 90% less and 100% online. Don't wait. Text LINE to 200-300 right now for a link to your exclusive offer. Text LINE to 200-300. That's LINE to 200-300. LINE to 200-300.
It's football time at BetMGM. Use code KOSTOS, KOSTOS, and receive up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet. When you register with BetMGM, you'll get instant access to a variety of parlay selection features, live betting options, original bets, and the best daily promotions in the business. Use code KOSTOS, KOSTOS, and get up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 years of age or older. New customer offer. This U.S. promotional offer not available in Mississippi, New York, Nevada, Ontario, or Puerto Rico. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. For New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. For Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. For Massachusetts, call 1-800-327-5050. For Iowa, call 1-800-BETS-OFF. For Puerto Rico, call 1-800-981-0023. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards are non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 7 days in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
It's time to huddle up and listen close. For 2024, we pay tribute to a true game changer in the world of snacks. The unrivaled, the unbeatable, the pork rind. Yes, it's crunch time, and we're not just talking about the last few nail-biting minutes of the game. We're talking about a snack so audaciously crunchy, it puts those pretentious chips and pretzels to shame. So here's to you, Southern Recipe pork rinds, for being more than just a crunch. Southern Recipe pork rinds. It's crunch time. Find your rind at H-E-B.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and senior vice president of men's sexual health at HIMSS. In my 12 years of practice as a reproductive urologist, I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS. It really wasn't easy before. You had to take time out of your day, come to a physical office, and see a specialist like me in person. Now, through HIMSS.com, you can get world-class sexual health care and a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. It starts with a free assessment from a medical provider licensed in your state who can determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. So don't wait. Join the hundreds of thousands of guys who've gotten help for their ED through HIMSS.
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Welcome to TGL, presented by SoFi, golf's newest league, live on ESPN and ESPN Plus. It's 2 hours of hammer-dropping, overtime forcing, playoffs on the line golf, Tiger, Rory, and more of the best from the PGA Tour, split into 6 teams. Learn more at TGLGolf.com. Tune in every week for TGL matches. Keep up, it's golf.
Well, things changed in a hurry during that break down there at the Sugar Bowl. Halftime now, Notre Dame up on Georgia 13-3. 13-3. They're going to halftime. So Notre Dame kicks a field goal with 38 seconds left. They kick off, and Kirby, well, had his young quarterback back to throw. He got sacked. He fumbled. Notre Dame recovered at the 13, and now they lead by 10 at halftime. Crazy ending sequence there at the Sugar Bowl being played today. Game, it's halftime now over on ESPN AM 1250. We'll keep you updated throughout the second half of this one while we're on the air here. Our bowl coverage brought to you by the Break Room Bar in Live Oak, Smoky Mo's Barbecue, and Ewald Kubota. Of course, yesterday, you had the 2 games that did get played yesterday. Penn State rolled Boise State on Tuesday night, New Year's Eve, and that was not much of a game at all. I mean, that game was ugly. That game, I mean, you saw Boise State running out to the field and the big offensive lineman carrying the American flag face planted, and that set the tone for the Boise State night. That and Penn State's just the better football team. Then the early game yesterday, down there in the Peach Bowl, Texas and Arizona State. The Texas started on fire. They did. And then they went into cruise control. And I tried telling you guys, and again, I'm not the I told you so type of thing, but so many Longhorn fans just looking at Arizona State thinking they shouldn't be there, they don't deserve to be there, they're not that good, the Big 12 sucks, blah, blah. With my kid at Arizona State, I've watched a lot of Arizona State football, and they're a good football team. They are a physical, nasty football team. Their quarterback is legit, and I've been all over Cam Scadaboo for a couple of months. I mean, that kid's a wrecking ball, man. He's been fun to watch, and I know how good their defense could be. And again, although I'm watching them play Big 12 football, but they're just destroying everybody in the Big 12. So I expected a fight. Said all last week leading up to the game. Texas wins, but they don't cover. That 13.5 I thought was too big. And I feel like because I've watched both these teams, I know both these teams, I know their personalities, and you saw that on full display yesterday. The game didn't really surprise me. There were parts of it I was surprised with, obviously. But the way it ended, the final score, not really. How we got to that final score, sure. But I knew once Texas had the lead, watching them kind of, I don't know, man, just going to this funk, I was concerned because I knew once Arizona State got rolling, they were going to be there. Then you hear the reports that, Cam Scadaboo is losing his lunch over there on the sideline, and by definition, man, for New Year's Day, puke and rally, let's go, and that's exactly what Arizona State did. And once they punched Texas in the mouth, well, Texas did what I've seen them do too many damn times when they get punched in the mouth. Until they finally fought back, right? I mean, because Texas, sometimes you wonder about how tough they are. We talk about Texas fight, but sometimes you wonder about it. But late in that game, when they had to make plays, they did. Quinn Ewers throws an interception. Here we go, right? Throws an interception. Not a good pass. Great defensive play, but not a great pass. But again, I go back to Sark. Dude, Sark, at what point did you abandon the run game? You knew Arizona State was going to run Cam Scadaboo all over the place because that's what they do. So, one, your defense at some point, as great as they are, needs a rest. Run the ball. They didn't. I mean, Arizona State, what was time of possession? 38-22? I mean, it was ridiculous. But that is what Arizona State does. If I know that, doesn't Sark know that? So don't you do things sometimes to try to get the ball going? Doesn't Texas play better when they run the ball? Doesn't Quinn throw better when they run the ball? They didn't try to run the ball. They were trying to get it all seemingly on one play. I was not a fan, especially in the second half of the play calling that Sark had, even though he panicked. That's the only way I can describe what I saw from Sark in his play calling, because Arizona State was dominating the time of possession the way they were. Texas didn't run a lot of plays, and so it felt like, every time Texas got the ball, Sark felt like he needed to get it all right there. He panicked. That was a panic move with his play calling late. And then the interception. But after the interception, Quinn Ewers, final 5 minutes of the fourth quarter and the overtimes, he was incredible. 11 of 14, 161 yards and 2 touchdowns. 4th and 13, game is on the line. Your career at Texas is on the line. That could have been that dude's final play as a Texas Longhorn, and he delivered a strike. And then in overtime, they're able to get the interception. In the second overtime, they end the thing. And I think it is fitting that Texas's defense made the play to win the game. I was thrilled to see that Texas defense, the way they've been all year, that they were the unit that made the game-clinching play. We didn't have to go to that stupid, let's run a bunch of 2 conversions, although that would have been great to see Arch Manning. But at the same time, that defense made the play. Made the play when they had to. Sark talked about the resiliency of his team.
One thing that I know about our group is when our backs are against the wall and when our best is needed, our best shows up time and time again. And the resiliency that these guys showed today was something as a coach makes you really proud, we weren't at our best, and it felt like a NCAA March Madness basketball game with the swings of emotions and things.
I agree with him. And you probably should be proud, Coach, I suppose. Our back's against the wall. But why did you get into that position? You were up 24-8. And quite frankly, should have been more. But you guys went into this funk. The Longhorns went into that funk. And Arizona State got rolling, and then you couldn't stop it until you finally did in overtime after they had tied the game up. And who knows what would have happened if targeting would have been called in the final minute of that game. I thought it was targeting. I think the refs bailed Texas out. You hear all the arguments about what is targeting. I don't know what targeting is anymore. You don't know what targeting is anymore. Hell, the Arizona State coach doesn't know what targeting is.
I want to be honest, I don't know what targeting is. We lost one of our best players in the first half for targeting, and I just don't know what it is. So I don't want to comment on something that I have to get a better grasp of what it is, just because it's so, I just don't quite understand it. I do just want to protect the players, though. So whatever rules are put in place to protect the players, I'm all about.
And again, I don't know how else he can answer that question without just completely bitching about the officials, because I don't know if that call targeting there that it changes the outcome of the game. Arizona State's got an awful kicking situation. And it's been awful all year. Awful. I mean, so there was no, oh, man, they're right there in field goal range if they get that 15 yards. No, they're not. And I know Kenny Dillingham would have coached that thing. We got to score a touchdown because I'm not going to rely on a kicker in this kind of situation. That's not what he does. Not with those kickers. So even if they call that targeting, I don't know that it ultimately changes the outcome, but we're never going to know. We will never know. But, again, you look at Texas missing a couple of kicks from a guy that's been fairly reliable throughout his career, but now he's got the yips. Next Friday at the Cotton Bowl, do we see a different kicker for Texas? I mean, certainly something that we'll talk about in the next week, and Sark is going to have to address. But if you're Sark, how much do you trust your kicker at this point? It's one thing to miss a long one. It's another to miss a chip shot. Where up until then, with inside of 40, wasn't he perfect up until then? And he doinked it. Now, did he overthink it? Did Sark talking to him on the field before he kicked it? Which you never see. You never see coaches do that with kickers. Never. Like, kickers are weird, man. They're different breeds. Let them go do their thing. But I trust Sark knows his players. Coaches know. So in the moment, man, I thought that was strange. But if it worked, genius. Doesn't work, what the hell are you doing, Sark? Did you throw him out of your game? I mean, he could have run back over to the net and kicked one, although you saw the Arizona State ball girls getting his way at one point. Think that was by design? It's crafty, huh? I mean, who knows? But I don't know that I trust Bert Auburn at this point. I really don't. I mean, he looked good on the extra point in overtime. So I'll give him that. I mean, but I don't know. You look at Ohio State, Friday in the Cotton Bowl. Next Friday, a week from tomorrow. If I'm Texas, and I don't know what their backup kicking situation is like, but I might have to make a change. I really do. I mean, he wasn't good in the SEC championship game, and he wasn't good yesterday. And if you beat Ohio State, you're back in that same building in Atlanta, so you're definitely going to need a new kicker there because maybe he just can't kick in Atlanta. For whatever reason, that building doesn't work well for him. But for me, at this point, I don't know that I can trust Spurt Auburn. We get a week to talk about it. It'd be interesting to see how Sark handles it. I know next Friday for the Cotton Bowl, the Blitz is going to be live out at Pop Stroke over there off I-10 near 1604, the brand new Pop Stroke. We're going to be with our friends from Flight by Yingling, a special Flight Friday. You can win great Yingling prizes. Watch the Cotton Bowl, Texas, Ohio State. That's going to be incredible next week. Next Friday. I'm excited to get out the Pop Stroke. Haven't been there. Be a lot of fun. Stephen Jones of the Dallas Cowboys will join us coming up. We'll get his thoughts on the release of Zeke and how they're going to handle this final game. Will we see Trey Lance? Stephen Jones joins us coming up in about 6 minutes from right now here on The Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Riding 410 with The Blitz.
About my new Connecticut quality water softener. It's been in my house for some time now, and I was skeptical. I really was, but I'm not anymore. It is a game changer. It's incredible the difference that you can see with a Connecticut quality water softener. They've been serving San Antonio and South Texas for over 50 years. Products are made in America, and you know as well as I do. You live in San Antonio, South Texas, the water is so hard. You need a water softener, and since you're going to need a water softener, you want to get the best, and that is a Connecticut quality water softener. What I love about it, you don't plug anything in. It doesn't run on electricity, so there's no increase in your electric bill, no expensive electrical components to repair or replace. And soft water is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And right now, the fine folks at Connecticut will put a water softener in your home for 90 days, absolutely free with no contract. You heard me right. Absolutely free, no contract. They'll do it for 90 days. Hey, if after 90 days you don't like it, they'll come and get it, and you don't owe a dime. But I promise you'll fight them to take that out of your home after you've had it in your home. All you have to do is get the process started. 656-PURE, 656-7873, or ConnecticutSA.com. And you know the jingle? Sing it with me. It's the last water softener you'll ever own. Call 656-PURE, Connecticut.
Hello, my name is Jason Thompson. I'm an attorney here in San Antonio, and since 1994, I've been representing people and families seriously injured by negligent drivers. I think everyone knows that driving while using a cell phone, texting, posting videos is dangerous. Study after study shows that use of a cell phone like this is the same or worse than driving under the influence. Yet, many people insist on using their cell phones while driving. I've had many cases where my client was injured by one of these people because they chose to use their cell phone. Who are these people? You and I have both seen them, probably today. Men, women, old, young, minivan drivers, truck drivers, 18-wheeler drivers. I know this. The same person that chooses to use their cell phone while driving is the same person who will lie about it later just to avoid taking responsibility. If you choose to use a cell phone while driving and hurt someone, you'd better hope they don't call me. If you or a family member has been injured in a vehicle collision, call me. Jason Thompson, 210-900-0400. That's 210-900-0400.
At Verizon, anyone can trade in their old phone for a new one on us with Unlimited Ultimate, which means everyone in your family could get a new phone and stay on your family plan, keeping you close.
Hey, Mom, you seen my toothbrush? Yeah, I'm almost done with it.
Oh, maybe too close. Trade-in and additional terms apply. See Verizon.com for details.
America's best high school football players are coming to San Antonio. It's the Navy All-American Bowl at the Alamo Dome on Saturday, January 11th. C.J. Stroud, Christian McCaffrey, and Micah Parsons played here. Join us for a day of exciting football to see the stars of tomorrow at the Navy All-American Bowl, followed by the San Antonio Sports All-Star Football Game presented by Valero. Fan Zone opens at 9:30 a.m. Tickets on sale now at the Dome box office and Ticketmaster.
You know the Roo Pub has proven to be the best place to watch any big game with those 3 massive 170-inch screens and TVs all around. Football, basketball, all the fights. And when you show up at the Roo Pub, show up hungry. The food is fantastic. Open daily at 11. Great for lunch, great for dinner, great for late at night, and certainly the best place to watch the game. Just down from the big blind, the Roo Pub, right next to the Angry Elephant. 281 in Redland Road. We'll see you at the Roo.
America's best high school football players are coming to San Antonio. It's the Navy All-American Bowl at the Alamo Dome on Saturday, January 11th. C.J. Stroud, Christian McCaffrey, and Micah Parsons played here. Join us for a day of exciting football to see the stars of tomorrow at the Navy All-American Bowl, followed by the San Antonio Sports All-Star Football Game, presented by Valero. Fan Zone opens at 9:30 a.m. Tickets on sale at the Dome box office and Ticketmaster.
Hi, I'm Manny Jr. from Rock's Discount Vitamins. If you are looking to build muscle, strength, and boost athletic performance, check out our huge selection of anabolic pro-hormones. These powerful supplements provide your body with essential nutrients for muscle growth, faster recovery, fat loss, and even improved bone health and libido. Visit one of our 12 San Antonio locations or go online at rocksdiscountvitamins.com to learn more. That's rocksdiscountvitamins.com. We thank God and you for your continued support. rocksdiscountvitamins.com.
It's the most wonderful time of the year, except when your family's starting to get on your nerves. When you need to escape for a little while, head down to SA Card House. Have yourself a good meal. Have yourself a good drink. Win yourself some money on the card tables. 281 in bidders. It's SA Card House.
Welcome to TGL, presented by SoFi, golf's newest league, live on ESPN and ESPN Plus. It's 2 hours of hammer dropping, overtime forcing, playoffs on the line golf, Tiger, Rory, and more of the best from the PGA Tour, split into 16. Learn more at TGLGolf.com. Tune in every week for TGL matches. Keep up, it's golf.
San Antonio's Sports Center.
The Dallas Cowboys made some news over the holidays, releasing running back Ezekiel Elliott in an attempt to allow him to sign with the team for the playoffs. Speaking of the Cowboys, they have 5 players make the Pro Bowl roster. Micah Parsons, Tyler Smith, Brandon Arbery, and returner Kevontae Turpin are all named starters, while wide receiver CeeDee Lamb was named a reserve. We'll talk about it with Stephen Jones coming up here on The Blitz.
Sports Center is brought to you by Buyers Barricades, the Texas authority in barricade rental. BuyersBarricades.com.
Joe Reinagel.
That's the 3rd time in 7 seasons, the San Antonio Spurs are the NBA champions.
Jason Minix.
They go back to big day as Super Bowl champions. Dallas 52, Buffalo 17.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Maybe you're watching on YouTube. You can always subscribe to the San Antonio Sports Star YouTube channel. Glad to have you along on this Thursday. It is Thursday. I'm Jason Minix. Joe Reinagel has the day off. James Pledger producing. Stephen Jones should be calling in any moment right now, and then we'll talk some Cowboys with him. In the meantime, do remind you, tomorrow being a Friday, even though it's a weird day, right? Everybody I've talked to today, what day is it? Because we had a weekend in the middle of the week, then you got to work 2 days, and then it's the weekend again. But tomorrow, we'll be live out at the South Texas RV Show over at the Freeman Coliseum Expo Hall. So that runs all weekend long, but we're going to be out there tomorrow. So you want to go check out all those RVs. We go to this every year. It's always a lot of fun. I'm always fascinated by things that they're able to put inside something that drives down the highway, right? If you're a road trip type person, these are incredible. Thinking about like stuff you see sometimes at the beaches or at great tailgates. Like even in the Valero Alamo Bowl tailgate, a guy that works here told A.J. Hoffman, hey, man, a friend of mine's going to be tailgating out there. So we found him because, free food and beer, we're going. The tailgate, the RV they had set up at the tailgate was incredible, and he borrowed it from a friend. I thought, man, you must have good friends that you borrow an RV to go tailgate. It's good times. Good times. Still a halftime of the Sugar Bowl. Notre Dame seemingly now with this massive lead. I think this first possession of the third quarter for Georgia is going to be pretty telling because Notre Dame takes a 6-3 lead, kickoff under a minute to play, 38 seconds. And then the Georgia quarterback fumbles, going back to throw. And it's one of those coaching decisions that, and again, it's on in the studio where James is at. I'm watching this game through glass. I'm not hearing any of the commentary, haven't followed every play, snap by snap. But it's one of the, like did Kirby make a bad decision here? Did Kirby Smart mess this up? 38 seconds to play. Notre Dame has just scored. Do you just take a knee and go into halftime? 6-3. Instead, they were going to throw, trying to go score before halftime. And you got sacked and you fumble the ball, and that led to a quick touchdown for Georgia right before halftime. So Georgia-Notre Dame was 3-3, 6-3, now 13-3. And from what I've seen with Georgia's offense so far today, their defense might need to score if they're going to try to make up 10 points. Stephen Jones says stand by. When he calls in, he'll be on. NFL regular season wrapping up this week. And for the Cowboys, what's going to be interesting, and we'll see what we can get out of Stephen when he joins us here in a minute, about the coaching futures for that entire staff. I believe most everybody on that staff, their contract is up. There's some, I'm not sure about like an Al Harris. There's some maybe, but for the most part, it seems like, especially for McCarthy and Zim, those are the two big ones, right? Bones, Fossil, maybe as well, because I think everybody was married up to be, if they didn't get it done, they could clean house and not have to pay anybody not to work there, because the Cowboys don't like to do that. McCarthy all season, as Notre Dame takes the second half kickoff back for a touchdown. Trying to see how far that touchdown was. I mean, it was a kickoff return for a touchdown. I mean, it was far, but I'm not sure if he went 100 or got it on a fly, but got it, looks like the 2-yard line. Broke a tackle there, then found the sideline around the 35, and it's off to the races. Notre Dame in complete control of this one right now with a second half kickoff return for a touchdown. Now 19-3 with the extra point try to come. For Mike McCarthy, the idea of talking about his future, he has maintained, and give him credit, because everybody knows you're a dead man walking. Everybody knows, you're a lame duck coach. I mean, from start of training camp to now, but he's always not really gotten into answering the question. And you appreciate that. He's got a job to do, and he's asking his players. I mean, because there's players that are out of contract too. I mean, that's the nature of the business. But today, when asked about it, the idea that he could be coaching his final game this week, he did get a little bit reflective.
I'll be honest with you. I go to the stadium much earlier, at this time in my career than I used to. And, I won a Super Bowl in that home locker room at AT&T. So I have a very strong emotional attachment that it hits me every time I walk in there, every time I walk out. So, yeah, I'm definitely aware of it. And, but, yeah, I know you got Zimmer up here. I am not. You're not getting me today. So, but no, I'm not thinking about it right now, but yeah, I'm definitely in tune with that.
Yeah, he's in tune with it, and really, the first time that you've heard Mike McCarthy kind of address the fact that this could be his final game as head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. Again, Cowboys taking on Washington. Game is at noon. You can listen to it here on your South Texas home of the Dallas Cowboys on a Sunday. Let's talk about it with Stephen Jones of the Dallas Cowboys joining us now on the Buyers Barricades guest line. Stephen, trust you had a good New Year's holiday. You get ready for the final week of the season. How's everything going in your world?
Everything's good. Happy New Year's to you guys. Hope you had a wonderful holiday. And, obviously a difficult time right now in Cowboy land just because, obviously we have higher expectations than this. But, overall, we're ready to get back to work.
When you talk about not meeting the expectation, the fact that we know Sunday is the last game of the year because there are no playoffs, how quickly do you guys as a front office put this season to bed and start working on next year?
Almost the second it's over. Obviously the future creeps into what we're about, and even now that we know we're eliminated. So, there's some internal disputes with Jerry and myself, but our focus is on trying to finish strong, go beat the Commanders, and go from there.
One of the biggest questions that's going to start immediately for the Dallas Cowboys is the future of Mike McCarthy and that staff with this organization. He actually was a little reflective on that today, talk about getting to the stadium earlier. And, how soon do you think a decision will be made by you and Jerry and announced to the public?
Well, we just, like I said, we've been so focused on this season. We hadn't really even thought about it in terms of timing. Obviously, Mike and McCarthy and his staff between Zimmer and Bones and that whole crew have done a hell of a job for us. And, obviously we'll really sit down and go over that. But, in terms of, starting to set up time schedules and those type of things in terms of when we'll make decisions, we haven't gotten to that point.
Stephen Jones of the Dallas Cowboys joining us here on the Blitz. Going in to the regular season finale, you're starting to see a lot of other teams that are in playoffs saying, all right, this guy's not going to play, that guy's not going to play. For the Cowboys, do you play some young guys maybe a little bit more in this game because you have been eliminated? Like, would we see Trey Lance play a lot, if not start on Sunday?
Well, those are all things that we're considering as we head toward Sunday. And, a lot of young guys are having to play, not because, we want them to necessarily play, but, we've just had so many injuries this year that a lot of guys, have gotten tapped on the shoulder, if you will, to go in there and get after it. And then, so a lot of our guys are playing and playing a lot, and that's great for all of them. And guys are stepping up and making statements, and all that's a huge positive as as we look to the future.
In specifically for a guy like Trey Lance, for me as a fan, I just want to see what he can do. It is, from your owner's box, do you want to see Trey Lance play just to see what he can do, knowing you gave up a fourth-round pick to get him?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we gave up a fourth-round pick to have him in there for insurance for Dak in case we didn't get Dak signed. And, he's obviously got a great pedigree being picked in the first round, and we've had him here for 2 years. And, we just got to continue to evaluate where he's going to be. He's obviously not going to be a starter for us anytime soon, short of injury. Because we've made a huge commitment to Dak over the next 4 years. So, it is what it is in terms of when you make those moves, and it was very strategic in terms of giving us insurance and protection if for some reason we were unable to get Dak signed. But we still want to see what Trey's all about, and I know Trey's got a bright future in this league. He just, the biggest thing he does need is to play. And, he didn't play a lot in college, and, he hadn't played a lot in the, in the NFL. So, I think his air is still straight up, and he's just got to continue to look for opportunities to get on the field.
Stephen Jones of the Dallas Cowboys here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Can you give us a little insight in the decision-making process of deciding to release Zeke Elliott?
Yeah, I mean, it was just one of those things where, with the season obviously coming to a close, having a ton of respect for Zeke and what he represents, he wanted an opportunity. There are a couple of teams out there missing, had injuries in the backfield. And, if there were an opportunity for him to get on a playoff team, he wanted to see if that was possible. And we felt like with all he's done for the Cowboys over the years, one of the best running backs to ever wear the star in terms of his career in Dallas. And, felt like it was the right thing to do, is give him the opportunity to go out and see if there were an opportunity for him to get on a playoff team. Now, in the meantime, obviously Rico's now our number one back, and so it all made sense.
It did. So he actually asked for the release, for the opportunity to maybe land somewhere else.
Yes.
Perfect. Stephen Jones of the Dallas Cowboys. I know you've got a busy schedule, sir. Appreciate you taking some time, and I know the next couple of weeks, next week's going to be very interesting with all that Cowboy news. Can't wait to talk to you next Thursday.
Always great to be on.
Appreciate it. Stephen Jones here on the Buyers Barricades guest line, where they provide traffic control, rental, and sales for San Antonio and beyond, online at buyersbarricades.com. So Zeke did ask for his release, and if you believe him, they haven't even thought about the coaching futures yet. Do you buy that? I don't buy that. Monday's going to be interesting. Monday is going to be very, very interesting. Let's talk some Texans football coming up. John McClain from HoustonTexans.com joins us next here on the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. The last couple of days you might needed your AC during the day and your heater at night. I know New Year's Eve it got stupid cold. Next week it looks like it might be stupid cold. You want to make sure your heater's working right, and if you turn it on and something isn't right, make sure you call Quarter Moon Plumbing, Heating, and AC, 210-651-5899. Whether it's your AC, your heater, your plumbing, they are full service. Big job, small job, residential or commercial. Their service trucks are fully stocked, and they have all the equipment needed for any job. At Quarter Moon, they do not have commissioned sales reps. They'll provide estimates and second opinions, and they have a great experienced staff that has earned an A-plus ranking with the Better Business Bureau. And at Quarter Moon, they are green certified. 210-651-5899, 651-5899, or online at quartermoonplumbing.com.
It's showtime. Let's do it. It's fun time. Here we go.
South Texas home of the 12-team college football playoff is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. All of the matchups are brought to you by Ewald Kubota, the Break Room Bar, and Smoky Mo's Barbecue. Hear every game on South Texas' first and only FM sports station. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Hello, my name is Jason Thompson. I'm an attorney here in San Antonio representing victims of negligent drivers. When it comes to insurance companies, I hate to state the obvious, but as consumers of insurance products, we as Texans have never had fewer rights than we do right now. Over the past 20 years, our rights as Texas insurance consumers have diminished every year. The insurance lobbyist over that 20 years has been very, very successful. The result? If you're on your own, you have no chance of a fair recovery without an experienced attorney. I was licensed to practice in 1994. Over the past 32 years, I have seen the insurance company's playbook develop. Delay, deny, depose. It's not just crime scene evidence. It's a very real approach most every insurance company takes in responding to the claims of traffic accident victims. Hire someone who knows the game. Hire somebody who wins. Hire me, Jason Thompson. My number is 210-900-0400. That's 210-900-0400. Or my website, alawyerforus.com.
My wife and I always loved doing everything together. Jiu-jitsu, kayaking, and intimacy was always on point. It was around my early 30s when I noticed a downward trend. Watching a lot of TV, putting on weight, and just full of self-doubt. I had tried another men's clinic with disappointing results. It's the personalized treatment I receive at Revive Men's Health that has been the complete game changer for me. I've got my energy and motivation back. I'm feeling stronger than I did in my 20s, and it made me a much better husband to my wife.
I'm Nicole Chrysler, healthcare provider at Revive Men's Health. If you are always feeling tired or moody, have a difficult time sleeping, or decreased libido, you may be suffering from low testosterone.
Book your free T-check and exam. Call Revive Men's Health San Antonio at 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
For a limited time, receive a free reverse osmosis drinking station when you buy a Connecticut water softener. A free drinking water system installed at your kitchen sink with the cleanest, best tasting water you've ever had. Better for your coffee maker, better for cooking, better for everything. Free with the purchase of a Connecticut water softener, but only for a limited time.
Trust me, Connecticut water systems are the best of the best. I personally have one in my home. All those other water softener systems out there are junk in comparison. Connecticut uses less water and runs on kinetic energy.
And is the last water softener you'll ever own. Right now, receive a free reverse osmosis drinking water station when you buy a Connecticut water softener. This is a limited time offer, so don't wait. Call us at 656-PURE.
Check them out at ConnecticutSA.com and tell them Dave Ramsey sent you.
The last water softener you'll ever own. Call 656-PURE. Connecticut.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks Vapors in an easy-to-apply stick, and it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And when you need more comfort for yourself, try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks Vapors.
Use as directed. Vapo Stick for use ages 4 and up. Vapo Shower Max use for adults only.
If you're thinking about a compact tractor and you want the best, you can afford a Kubota. Hi, I'm John Ewald with Ewald Kubota. Come into one of our locations and check out the new Kubota L2502 package deal, including a 4-wheel drive tractor with a hydrostatic transmission, a front loader, a rear mower, a box blade, and a trailer, all for one low price. With a deal this good, you can afford a Kubota from Ewald Kubota. From the Gulf of Mexico to the hill country of Texas, Ewald Kubota is your Kubota dealer.
South Texas, get ready. The legendary Rich Eisen debuts on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star this Monday. Rich delivers breaking stories and exclusive interviews every weekday, noon to 2 p.m. The Rich Eisen Show on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. Joe Reinagel on vacation. I'm Jason Minix on this Thursday, our first show of 2025, second day of January. Glad to have you along. If you're watching the Sugar Bowl or keeping up with it, Notre Dame is running away with it at this point. Now 20-3 in the third quarter. Let's talk some NFL football. The Houston Texans. John McClain from HoustonTexans.com joining us here on the Buyers Barricades guest line. John, I trust you had a great New Year's Eve.
I did have a great New Year's Eve, had a great New Year's Day, had a great everything.
Yeah, everything. Well, you didn't have a great Baylor bowl game down there in Houston.
No, but I had good fun going to having a suite with all my friends coming, and we had no way you can have a bad time on New Year's Eve when you get to stay with your friends and see people you haven't seen in a long time. Yes, it was a bad bowl game for Baylor, and I was blasting them on Twitter. And then I thought afterward, you know what? They were 8-5, and that was a whole lot better than I thought they'd be. So I wasn't disappointed.
Not disappointed. See, again, you could talk yourself out of being grumpy over a bad loss, but for Baylor, I think they did overachieve quite a bit. For Houston, for the Texans, not sure how to figure out this season yet because I expected more, yet they did win the AFC South. One more game to go. The Titans are actually favored, according to Circus Sports, by 2. Now, I could make a whole lot of sense if D'Amico Ryans would have said, yeah, Mixon and CJ and nobody's playing. But they haven't done that yet. How much time do you expect the starters to play on Sunday?
By the way, I'll tell you what I'm grumpy about is gutless officials who won't call an obvious targeting call.
Here we go.
That everybody in the world could see except the blind mice officiating that game and even looking at it on replay and not having the guts to call what was one of the most blatant head-to-head personal fouls that I've seen. That's why I was grumpy.
I thought it was targeting. I see here in my Longhorn shirt.
Of course it was targeting.
I thought it was targeting.
There's no thoughts. I thought it was.
I thought the on the interception, that one could have been targeting. I don't know what targeting is anymore, and I don't think the refs do either.
I think that's pretty clear. As far as the Texans, this is something I'm writing about right now for HoustonTexans.com. They're not playing well. They lost their last two to two of the best teams in the NFL. They lost a one-score game by 8 points at Kansas City. Then they came home and stunk it up against the Ravens to go 0-5 against Lamar Jackson and lose their sixth in a row to Baltimore. And they were horrible on both sides of the ball. Now, their offense has not been consistent or explosive all season. And it's because their offensive line has been terrible. And here they go against the Titans with Devondre Sweat and Jeffrey Simmons, as good a tackle duo as there is in the league, and they destroyed the Texans in an upset here. So the Texans, I think D'Amico Ryans is going to start his players. They need to play well. There's several, I'm writing, it's important that they win this game for several reasons. Number one, they've been off since Christmas. They've had plenty of time for the players to be off. Number two, they can't go in to the playoffs with a 3-game losing streak. They need to play somebody and build a little confidence, because right now, no matter how much people claim they're confident in the offense, they can't be, because the offense has been consistently bad, mediocre at best, because of the terrible offensive line, mainly up the middle. And they can't be swept by one of the worst teams in the league, the Tennessee Titans. So if they win this game, and that they'll go 10-7, same as last year. First place schedule this year, last place schedule last year. Then I'm guessing they're going to play Pittsburgh, maybe the Chargers, but I'm guessing the Steelers, who they beat by 24 here last year. And Russell Wilson has not been playing well. The Steelers have lost 3 in a row. They could lose 4 in a row. So I think D'Amico Ryans going to play his starters. I think they should play the starters. This team needs something good to happen to them because it's been a while.
Certainly has. John McClain from HoustonTexans.com here on the Blitz. Georgia on looks like about a 32-yard touchdown pass. Gets into the end zone now 20-10, 9:36 to play in the third quarter of that Sugar Bowl. John, you look at, and, I was off last week, how bad things got on Christmas Day for this team. And the idea, you're right, they've been off since then, so they should be rested. With everything that's gone bad for Houston in the month of December, is it fixable? Like if they go to Tennessee and get a convincing win, starters play and play well, they'll have confidence going into the playoffs, but can they actually fix their problems going into the playoffs?
Do you believe in magic wands that can be waved over a team in a week, and all of a sudden they're consistent, explosive, their passing game is crisp, the quarterback is protected, the running game is consistent? No. What they don't want, and I don't put a lot of stock in the Baltimore game because the Ravens have killed them. They started and ended last season in Baltimore, and then they lose this one. And when I look back, had they beaten Baltimore, it's the Ravens who would have been coming here for the wild card round. So there's something good to come out of that defeat. And no, I don't think they can get it where all of a sudden they're explosive. They've got Deontay Johnson's going to play for the first time since they claimed him. They really got one good receiver, Nico Collins. The others have not come through. Now, Dalton Schultz, to me, is taking a step back because of his blocking. You guys told me he couldn't block squat, and he blocked really well last year. And this year, he has struggled in that area like he did with the Cowboys. But that offense has just not been good. And Stroud's coming off his worst game. And it all started in Green Bay. They were 5-1. They go to Green Bay. They lose on a field goal with no time left. But what Green Bay did was they ran some stunts on the interior that the linemen could not pick up. And when they did, they got obliterated. So then everybody goes, okay, that's the way they did it, so we're going to do it. And so they might add a few wrinkles to it, but they have not been able to block up the middle despite having a number 1 pick, Kenyon Green, been a huge disappointment. The number 2 pick, Juice Scruggs, been a disappointment. And right guard Shaq Mason, who's out with a knee injury, he did a good job till this year when he came in. It looked to me like He was overweight. He's given up almost 10 sacks. So their best interior lineman's been a sixth-round pick from last year, Jared Patterson, who played because of ineptness. So I think they should beat the Titans. And I tell you something, if the Titans lose to the Texans, they'll have the first or second pick. If the Titans beat the Texans based on some things that could happen, they could drop down to the seventh or eighth pick. I read a column by Paul Kaharski, who's covered the Titans since the Oilers, when they were still here, and he said, "Wait a minute, Amy Adams Strunk. Yes, the owner wants to beat Houston. She wants to sweep Houston. They're wearing their Oilers uniforms, but that would not be good for the franchise." And I tell you one other thing, Jason. Right now, Patriots have the number one pick. They've got their quarterback. Drake May is tremendous. And if they get that number one pick and they're open for business with all these teams that need a quarterback like Shedeur Sanders or maybe Cam Ward, talk about benefiting. But, hey, you know what? They could win too and screw it up like the Giants did last game.
Absolutely they could. The great John McClain from HoustonTexans.com here on the Blitz. John, I don't know if anybody's more of a historian of the Houston Texans franchise than you. Maybe Mark Vandermeer, but there's not many that were there on day one that are still there, right?
Right.
Vince Young told a story on Johnny Manziel's Glory Days podcast I had not heard before. Have you heard this yet?
I've heard it, and it's not true. I don't know. Vince must have dreamed it. But go ahead and say what he said, and then I'll shoot it down.
Well, he said he thought he was going number one, and then they didn't like his agent, so they went with Mario Williams. I had not heard anything like that before.
That's one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. They went with Mario Williams because they had David Carr. David Carr had been the first overall pick in 2002. He had flashes. And they couldn't protect him in 2002, 2003. He was better. Then he didn't play well. So they hired Gary Kubiak. Gary's job, fix David Carr. Gary came in here in 2006. They were never going to draft Vince. And Gary couldn't do it, so they got rid of Carr, signed Matt Shaw. But no, they didn't have a problem with Major, I forgot his last name. I would say Major Adams. Yeah, Major Adams. They had no problem with him. I just don't know. The only thing I can guess of is Vince took a nap and dreamt it and thought that it's true.
Out of curiosity, all your years of covering the NFL and knowing general managers, have they ever not drafted a player or done business with a player just because they didn't like their agent?
Absolutely not. There's some they didn't like. Howard Slusher, hold him out. Howard used to hold out players in basketball and the NFL. That was his MO until he got what he wanted. But people did not draft because of Howard. Of course, today you got Scott Boras, who rules baseball, but you don't not take a player because of Scott Boras. So I don't know where Vince came up with that, but it's absolutely not true.
All right, not true. I knew you were the right guy to ask because I had never heard that story before either. And I was like, even Pledge and I was like, all right, let me make sure. Because was it Casserly the GM? And he was, but he was on his way out. Kubiak could just, none of that made sense. And like I said, I had not heard that, so figured I'd ask you because you would know. You would also know the answer to this. Should Saquon Barkley play on Sunday and break the Eric Dickerson rushing record?
Absolutely not. You don't ever play a player so he can break a record. You're supposed to try to win. The beating that he's taken, and they don't have a bye, so that's the smartest thing Nick Sirianni's done because you don't play for records. Can you imagine they put him in there to gain 101 or 2 yards and he got hurt? Sirianni be fired on the spot. So it's the absolute right thing to do.
John McClain. Follow him on Twitter at McClain_on_NFL. Read him at HoustonTexans.com. Always fun, John. Always appreciate you jumping on in. As my friend Aaron
Jason,
just texted, I love it when John McClain gets fired up. Love it.
Jason, thank you very much, and Happy New Year
Happy
to
New
you
Year.
and all your listeners, and I look forward to talking to you next week.
Absolutely. The great John McClain on the Buyers Barricades guest line, where they provide traffic control, rental, and sales for San Antonio and beyond, online at buyersbarricades.com. 6:43 to play in the third quarter. Notre Dame leading Georgia 20-10 right now in the Sugar Bowl. Notre Dame with the football. Hopefully you got your pick'em entries for this one going on. You do have the Gator Bowl later tonight, the First Responder Bowl tomorrow. Then, of course, we still have all the playoffs. And then the NFL playoffs are going to start after this regular season weekend. You want to win money watching all these games? Make sure you download the Underdog Fantasy app. Over 5 million happy players have won over $2 billion. Underdog makes it fun and easy to cash in on all your favorite athletes' performances. Thinking about, football tomorrow, Spurs play tomorrow night, you can mix and match sports. They allow you to do that on the Pick'em game that they have. With Pick'em, you could win up to 1,000 times your money just by choosing higher or lower on player stats. Every dog deserves a second chance as well, and with Underdog Rescues, you can get your money back and receive a promo if an early injury causes your entry to lose. Underdog is also the only pick'em platform that puts the power to cash out in your hands. You can either keep riding or hit that win now button, tap that, cash out whenever you want. With Underdog's double flex option, you can even take 2 L's and turn them into a W. Underdog is the best place to play pick'em. Download the app, sign up, use my promo code STAR, deposit now, and get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly. Again, promo code STAR. Must be over 18, present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. Again, promo code STAR at Underdog Fantasy.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson.
Friday on the Morning Huddle, will it be Mike McCarthy's last visit with us? We'll talk with the coach. We'll get you ready for all the weekend's playoff festivities. And oh yeah, we had a football game. We'll talk about the winner. Did Notre Dame pull it out, or is Georgia headed where they've been before? Get here early. Party starts at 6.
It's the Morning Huddle with A.J. Hoffman and Rob Thompson. Mornings 6 to 10 on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It's the most wonderful time of the year, except when your family's starting to get on your nerves. When you need to escape for a little while, head down to SA Card House. Have yourself a good meal. Have yourself a good drink. Win yourself some money on the card tables. 281 in bidders. It's SA Card House.
We expect our information in real time. U.S. Med carries continuous glucose monitors, which provide real-time readings of blood glucose levels. U.S. Med is an approved provider for Medicare and over 500 private insurers. So call 888-665-0696 today for a free insurance and Medicare benefits check as easy as, that's 888-665-0696.
This new year, get started on your next success with University of Maryland Global Campus. Classes start January 8th. Apply now and save with no application fee. An accredited state university, UMGC offers online and hybrid classes while giving you a head start on 2025. Earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's for prior learning and experience, or transfer up to 12 credits toward a master's. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chef.
TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine is excited to announce a partnership that is revolutionizing access to care for orthopedic patients. The HURT app provides free 24/7 access to orthopedic expertise. HURT is the app to have before you need it. Don't wait for an injury to happen. Download HURT now for free, fast virtual access to orthopedic specialists. The HURT app is available online in the App Store and Google Play. Learn more about the HURT app and the OrthoNow Injury Clinic at TSAOG.com.
Come to the South Texas RV Super Sale today through Sunday. Expo Hall at the Freeman. Doors open at 10 a.m. daily. Get tickets online at SouthTexasRVSupersale.com. Every kind of RV and dealers are making deals. SouthTexasRVSupersale.com.
Transform your water with Connecticut. For a limited time, receive a free reverse osmosis drinking station, $400 off with trade-in, and 0% interest for 12 months with approved credit. Don't wait. Offer ends soon.
Call 656-PURE Connecticut.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray.
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
Hi, my name is Jason Thompson. I'm an attorney here in San Antonio representing people and families who've been injured in traffic collisions since 1994. The reason it's important to call me as soon as possible is the number of tricks and mistakes you can make, even up to talking to insurance companies, which I'm going to tell you not to do. And also some of the billing practices at our local hospitals. And over the last year, I've seen more and more of this, where hospitals are asking patients to assign benefits they do not have to assign, all in an effort to get more money to the hospital than they would receive if all you used was your health insurance. When you call, I will give you your options. We'll talk about your case. And all of that is free of charge. If you or a family member has been injured in a traffic accident, whether car, commercial truck, motorcycle, I want you to call me as soon as possible after the collision. My number, 210-900-0400. That's 210-900-0400. Or go to my website at alawyerforus.com.
Welcome to TGL, presented by SoFi, golf's newest league, live on ESPN and ESPN+. It's 2 hours of hammer-dropping, overtime forcing, playoffs on the line golf, Tiger, Rory, and more of the best from the PGA Tour, split into 6 teams. Learn more at TGLGolf.com. Tune in every week for TGL matches. Keep up, it's golf.
It's the most wonderful time of the year, except when your family's starting to get on your nerves. When you need to escape for a little while, head down to SA Card House, have yourself a good meal, have yourself a good drink, win yourself some money on the card tables. 281 and bidders, it's SA Card House.
San Antonio Sports Stars 50K Pro Football Pick'em giveaway is back. Head to SASportsStar.com and pick the winners of each pro football game every week to earn points for each correct pick. Highest points each week wins a $25 gift card to Mellow Mushroom. Highest points overall scores $1,000 worth of tickets from A Awesome Tickets. Pick the winning ticket of every regular season game. Win the grand prize, $50,000. This is an Audience National contest across multiple markets. The 50K Pro Football Giveaway. Register and win at SASportsStar.com.
It is the Blitz here on 94.1 at San Antonio Sports Star. Ryan Eagle has the day off. I'm Jason Minix. Glad to have you along on this Thursday. First show of 2025. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Extra innings with Pledge coming up at 6. It's going for a whole hour tonight. Might be on maybe when Notre Dame and Georgia goes final. Right now, Notre Dame is up 20-10. 3:50 to play in the third quarter. Big 4th down and 3 play coming here for the Georgia Bulldogs. And they won't get the snap off. They call timeout or delay game flag. That probably changes a lot of things. Our bowl coverage brought to you all bowl season by your friends at Ewald Kubota, Smoky Mo's Barbecue, and the Break Room Bar over in Live Oak. Next Friday, Texas, Ohio State. Right here on 94.1. Blitz next Friday, we're going to be live. That new Pop Stroke place. It's going to be fun. Our friends from Flight by Yingling, we're going to have a special flight Friday. Next Thursday, Notre Dame, Georgia winner. Right now, it looks like Notre Dame going to get Penn State. After an incredible, incredible is not the right word because it was just incredible with how the games went. It's surprising. I mean, to watch Oregon just get obliterated. Now, I picked Oregon to win the national championship back in September. So I didn't move off of that. And when the brackets came out, I picked Oregon. I thought they'd beat Texas. And yes, I knew that meant picking against Texas. I want Texas to win, but as the Longhorn fan in me, I wanted Texas to win, but watching Oregon, following Oregon, my niece's husband, whose name is Duck Boy, In my phone, it's that way. His real name is Lucas, but I've called him Duck Boy since he was in high school. And all I can do is talk to that guy about Oregon football. So I keep up with it, right? Stunned. Sent him a text after the game yesterday. Just said, well, I haven't heard back from him. And knowing Lucas, he hadn't probably said a word. Has not said a word. That guy's going to be mad for 6 months. I feel bad for Duck Boy because this was the year. He had flights and a hotel already booked for Atlanta. Yep, refundable. Been talking to John over at Awesome Tickets. Hadn't pulled the trigger on those yet because John told him to wait. Was probably the smart thing to do. Smart thing to do. And now I look at it, who's the best team in college football left right now? Over these last 2 weeks, you have to say Ohio State.
I would say Ohio State and Penn State are the best two teams right now, the way they've been playing of late.
I don't know if I can go there with Penn State yet. And again, they beat an SMU team that needed hand warmers or something. And then they beat Boise State. Penn State, as soon as the brackets came out, had the clearest path to get at least to this point, and they've dominated. They've done what they're supposed to do. So I don't want to take away from them, but have we seen them play the quality football? Watching Ohio State beat Tennessee the way they did and then beat Oregon the way they did, it looks like Ohio State and then everybody else. And give me time, but right now, if I had to put money today, it'd be all on Ohio State to destroy Texas. Honestly. Watching the way Texas, they play around too much and let teams stay in games. And that's on Sark. Sark panicked yesterday. With his play calling. Early, they were rolling. I loved the scripted first 15. They were rolling. Get the punt returned. They're rolling. But they didn't build a big enough lead. And again, I've watched Arizona State all year with my daughter there. For those tuning in, it's not like I've watched a little bit of Arizona State or seen their. I've watched a lot of Arizona State football, and I've said all year that team is physical. Cam Scadaboo is the real deal. I've been saying since October? Cowboys. That's the kind of guy the Cowboys. And most people, it's the Big 12. It's Arizona State. They're not all that. I love their quarterback. Their best wide receiver didn't play. He's been hurt. That kid's a stud. And defensively, they're nasty. Granted, it's the Big 12. It's the Big 12. I think they belong. They're legit. So I wasn't surprised at what happened yesterday. I was surprised at how it all got there, obviously. But said all last week, Texas will win, but they won't cover. 13.5 too big for Arizona State. They're going to cover that. Now, obviously, there was points in that game yesterday. I thought, well, that was bad. But end of the game, they're there. Texas gets lucky as hell when targeting isn't called. That said, having watched Arizona State all year, even if they get that targeting penalty, I don't know that Arizona State wins with a walk-off field goal because that's a team that cannot kick. And that's coming from a Longhorn fan that has watched Auburn completely get the yips. I don't know what's going on with that kid. And if I'm Texas, I replace him before the Ohio State game. Because if it's close, do you trust Bert Auburn to go out there? I don't right now. I don't. Sark, you know your guy. I don't know how you trust him. But I don't know how much I trust Sark in these big game moments. I'll go back to I was in the stadium. I've said this before on the show. You've heard me say this before. In the stadium, Texas, Georgia. And they show Sark on that big old Jumbotron thing there at DKR a couple of times early in that game, and he looked panicked. And you know what? They quit showing him. His play calling in that big game was bad. The execution, all of it. Yesterday, again, watching Arizona State, they run the ball. They control the clock. They beat you up. And Cam Scadaboo, puke and rally guy, and that's exactly what he did. That's Arizona State, man. New Year's Day, puke and rally. Let's go. I know for a lot of people yesterday, you were slow moving on the couch. You had to puke and rally. Let's go. Happens on New Year's Day. We were all moving slow yesterday. But I look at them dominating the time of possession, and where I say I think Sark panicked is because they were dominating the time of possession. There weren't a lot of offensive plays for Texas. So when they got the ball, Sark, well, let's throw it all. Let's try to get it all instead of trying to establish a run. Sark did not have a good game calling plays. They never really established the run. And you know Quinn Ewers is a better quarterback when the run game is on point. And they've got a couple of guys that can run, but they don't do it. And you look at the way Texas has played, whether, not blowing out an Arkansas team on the road. They like to let teams hang around. They get a big enough lead where it feels like they go into, cruise control. And then that team gets a score, and all of a sudden, everybody's puckered a little bit, right? And when Quinn's able to bail them out. And we you look at the A&M game, not getting any points in the second half. I don't know what it is about Sark and his play calling in those big moments. A lot of you want to blame Quinn Ewers. Quinn was great in the second half yesterday. Well, Quinn threw the interception. That's bad, but that's Quinn. But after that, the final 5 minutes, hard to find better quarterback play. His calmness, not a reflection of his head coach, because then they show Sark. The only time Sark seemed calm in the second half when they would show him on TV is when he was talking to his kicker. And who the hell talks to their kicker before the biggest kick of their life? It seems like something coaches know not to do. Let the kicker go. Nobody talk to that guy. Kickers are weird people, man. They're different breeds. Let them go do their thing. Now, we were talking to Bob Ballou from KI Television in Austin earlier and said, it reminded me of when Mac Brown did that to Justin Tucker. I don't remember that. I'm sure he did. Justin Tucker and Bert Auburn are not the same people. I think everybody in the world knew Justin Tucker was about to send A&M into the SEC with a loss. The rest of us were like, oh, God, we're going to send him back out there. Oh, no. And Sark's over there talking to him. It was the most bizarre thing. But again, I trust the coach is going to know his players, know what they need. I mean, they were both smiling at each other. I don't know what he told them. Got some things that I'm guessing he said. And then you got a doink. Against Ohio State, I'm having kicker tryouts. I am. Pledge, it says on the TV, do you want to continue watching? The answer is yes, we do. Hit that, keep watching. Okay, they're in a commercial. It is a Thursday, even though it doesn't feel like a Thursday.
The Blitz wants you to know what's on tap. Presented by
music ended abruptly. All right. Was it 4th and 1? Notre Dame on 4th and 1, the 24-yard line, they're going for it instead of the easy field goal. Little dump out pass, they get it. 1st and 10 now from the 15, but there is a flag down. Credit Georgia for battling because it went south in a hurry for those guys. It was at one point 20-3 after Notre Dame returned at the second half kickoff for a touchdown. Illegal shift is the call against Notre Dame. So wipe that first down off the board. Now you got to wonder, are they going to continue to go for it or try to kick a field goal? Again, it's scored 20-10. We'll see you. Blitz live tomorrow out at the South Texas RV show at the Freeman Coliseum Expo Hall. Extra innings with Pledge coming up next to get an entire hour of James Pledger as Notre Dame is going to try for a field goal. See, they're spotting that at 37, so a 47-yard attempt now for Mitch Jeter. And from this angle, it looks good. So now 23-10. Pledge will keep you updated throughout the next hour here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
This is The Blitz with Jason and Joe.